It's time for This Week in Google. Stacey Higginbotham is back. Yay! Jeff Jarvis is here, so's Aunt Pruitt. We're going to talk about the meltdown in the Google store, a little bit about the Google Pixel 6 and why we're all buying one. The silly event Samsung had this morning, well, it's a nice feature, and the dead-end street that's driving Waymo crazy. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twig.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 634, recorded Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. Russian touchdown. This Week in Google is brought to you by Andela. Andela is a global talent network connecting innovative companies like yours with quality technical talent, so you have more time to focus on your core business. Visit andela.com/4-companies to schedule a complimentary consultation and receive a 2-week no-risk trial with their vetted technical talent. And by Stripe. Whether you're an online or in-person retailer, software platform, marketplace, or subscriptions business, visit Stripe.com to learn more about how Stripe can support your business today. And by Command Line Heroes, an original podcast from Red Hat that tells the epic true tales of developers, programmers, hackers, geeks, and open source rebels who are revolutionizing the technology landscape. Season 8 is out now. Search for Command Line Heroes on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's time for Twig. This Week in Google, the show we cover the Google verse, the Facebook verse, the Twitter verse, and all the other verses. And we say hello to our panel. We welcome back Stacey Higginbotham, who I'm sorry to say that all the words were used up by Cory Doctorow last week, Stacey. So you're just gonna have to sit there. I'm sorry.
There's nothing more to say.
That's fine.
Stacey on IoT.
You had Cory Doctorow replace me last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard
it takes
the show,
Cory to replace you.
If you haven't heard the show, Cory is brilliant and
so brilliant.
Yeah, it was really
and
fun.
Hilarious.
And yeah.
Yep.
And hilarious.
I was thinking back to
both.
some of his metaphors and things, and I was thinking that was funny. That was really funny.
He's
Also with us, Jeff Jarvis. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring out the good book so that I can sing his praises. The Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism. We need to get a choir in here at the City University
That would be fun. wouldn't
of New York.
New York.
Maybe for our 1,000th episode.
Wait, is like the Utah Boys Choir on Cameo?
Oh, is it?
Oh,
I don't know. Just wait.
Oh my God.
Oh, I think it's the Mormon Tabernacle Choir.
I
But
don't
look up
care any
choirs. I bet
choir.
they're on there.
Oh, let's go to
Yeah.
Cameo right now. Then before I do that, let's say hello to Aunt Pruitt, host of Hands on Photography. Because now I'm going to
Wait a minute. We do need to check this out, though. We can easily put that on the TriCaster.
Let's see. Here's the
Yeah,
chairman.
sorry if I startled you with my weight.
Charitza.
Leo.
I searched for choir, and I got Charitza May, Trisha Fukuhara, Big E, a WWE superstar, Amy Phillips, television personality,
Tip unavailable.
Brandon Evans, an actress in P-Valley. I'm not sure I want to know what that show is. Pepper,
Oh, that's a great show. Quite
Chrissy
honestly.
Teigen's culinary mom, Tyler Oakley.
These people can't
see
sing.
choirs.
I don't see choirs. Benny B's a hip hop
Well, that is-
artist. We could do the hip hop version.
That would be no.
search on Mormon, maybe.
Are you really, Jeff?
Tabernacle.
Yes, let's search on
see.
Tabernacle. There's only 2 tabernacles, and neither one.
Don Juan pops up. Really?
He's a preacher
Don
and hip hop
Juan?
personality.
Wow.
You know, I think Cameo's got a search problem. Mormon Tabernacle.
Or maybe
Choir.
everybody's busy since the pandemic slowed
It
down.
is the
for them.
holiday season, so they're probably
This is
rehearsing.
what I get. when
Ricky
I-
Morton.
This is very strange. Very
I
strange.
think
All
those
right.
are just all the people available.
You know what
on
I do when a search doesn't work on a site? I just do Google. So let's
Yeah.
search for Cameo choir. Wouldn't it be funny if?
Or you know what
Here
we
we
could
go.
do is we.
Here we go. No. Oh, these are gospel. I wonder if Randy Travis.
Randy Travis?
Wow.
Oh my
Jeff
gosh, I need Randy
Jarvis.
Travis to sing something to my.
He is.
So my dad and I danced.
Here
to
we go.
a
Here
Randy
we
Travis
go.
song at our wedding.
From our own very own producer, Jason Howell. He says, "Go to Fiverr." Let me click this link here. Fiverr.
Mr. House.
Have a choir. I will have a choir sing your name, jingle, or message. Oh,
yes. Oh, yes.
For 15
Nice.
bucks.
Make it so.
Oh, yes.
Oh, golly gosh, Reno. Commercial use. I guess this is commercial use, but it's only $35. To add an orchestra, only $15.
No. Let's not overdo it.
Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I will do this for, I won't be here next week, but I will do this for our next.
For your return.
Yes, for my return. I will have a specially commissioned.
Now, meanwhile, we could put a challenge out on TikTok.
Oh, yeah, we could. Get that guy
Sing,
who sings and
I have the
drinks
Craig over the
cranberry
Craig,
juice.
Craig.
So, show a hand. Okay, first of all, yesterday Google announced the Pixel 6. And I'm seeing Jeff Jarvis in chat as Jason and I are doing the show, grumping. You were trying to order one, and then
I from the minute I could, I put together a cart. I had it in the cart during the entire presentation, your entire presentation. I'm just refreshing the entire hour, thinking I got to get this because I'm in line here. I've been in the very first minute. And then finally it's, no, we took it out of your cart. F you, said Google to me.
A number of people got the response, we're sold out, which was apparently specious, spurious, and fallacious.
Well, it is because they don't have them. They're out of stock. They don't have
they're
them.
sold out now. I ordered... you
got one?
I got one. It's coming...
Wait, did you order the Pro?
Tuesday. No. Well, so, yes, I ordered the Pro, but I didn't get the... one with, I only get the sunny yellow in 128 gigs, which is fine. That's actually the
I got
one
the black in 128.
And
but
you
I
were
wanted
able
the
to
black
get
in I wanted the black in 256. Of course, I'm never satisfied,
yeah.
Leo.
You're not going to need all that
Oh.
storage.
What
did you
I
get,
got
Stacey?
mine. I got the normal, the Pixel normal.
Well, you got the amateur, huh, Stacey?
Oh, you
Okay, the
don't-
reason
no,
why
no.
is because I had a choice between giant and gargantuan.
Oh, but it's not
So
about
I
the
decided-
screen. It's about the camera.
Cameras.
All about the
I
camera.
don't care. If I can't
and the
wrap my
macho
hand
spending the
around
money.
it, I can't own it. I hate how
You
big
need
these are.
bigger hands. Maybe if you used a catcher's
I'll
mitt.
work on that. Let me stretch out my fingers here so it works.
Aunt, which one did you get, Aunt?
The Twit card got the 6 Pro in white.
Good. The most
How
important
big?
thing, from my point of view, was that you have the cameras because you're
That's what I wanted. I
photography
wanted to
guy.
play with that and see how it competes with this iPhone and
How big did you get it,
that
Ed?
OIS. I went with the 6 Pro.
No, how big? How much memory?
128, I'm sure.
Oh, 128. I'm not one to do the large.
I've got the
storage on
64 3A XL.
It's fine,
and
right?
I've been running out of memory for a long
well, 64 you might.
phone. This is the 4XL. This 64, and it's totally fine. I don't keep that much on the phone. I guess if I don't need it, I get rid of it.
Stacey, you weren't worried about the camera that you aren't going to get as good you're not going to get that third lens, the 50 megapixel lens.
Yeah. I don't care. I mean, like my photo, like I actually, unlike everybody else in the world, I actually delete my photos. I don't take that many photos.
You don't need
It's
the
just
storage then. Yeah.
I'm a bad mom, really.
No, you're not.
You're not, because if presumably you have Google Photos, and so it's all getting uploaded to the cloud.
Once it's uploaded, I just delete. There's no
So
need to
let's
keep
give
it on
some
the phone.
context for anybody who may not have watched the event. The Pixel 6 was the new phone. It's $599. The Pixel 6, it's smaller, 6.2?
6.1, I think.
6.1, less of a camera. I know, no third camera, no ultra wideband. I'm very sad about that. And your option was also the Pixel 6 Pro for $899, bigger screen,
You're right.
additional lens.
6.2 inches.
In 6.7, right?
But this is confusing. So explain this diagram. 6.2 inches tall,
Oh.
6.4 inches
Display, maybe?
Diagonal.
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 Okay.
It's a diagonal.
So it's 6.4. That is really a strange way to talk about it, but okay.
What color did you get, Stacy?
I got the coral, hoping it's less pink and more orange. Going Google.
That's why I didn't go with it, because I'm thinking it didn't look like this Pixel 4
Yeah.
when it's, it was really
Well, I put a
orange
case set
looking.
on my phone, so it doesn't really matter.
Now,
but-
$599 is, by the way, I should point out, I think a very good price for a flagship phone. from
Excellent.
Google.
Yes.
super
use-
competitive.
Yeah. I mean, it's half what the iPhone would cost. So I think that's good. Millimeter wave, I don't know. I wouldn't. Now, here's what Scooter
So
X is
that's-
saying. So you could have it if you got it from Verizon or AT&T,
Right.
and it
Oh,
would
no,
cost.
I bought it unlocked.
Yeah, right. The version from the store is the $599 does not include millimeter wave.
Right.
So
Okay.
but Stacey,
reason why I
there's no
want that-
millimeter wave in your neighborhood, is there?
Okay, it's the ultra wideband millimeter wave is for finding things. It's just like Apple's
So we're
UWB.
talking about two different things. So there's UWB and
Oh.
there's millimeter wave. So you're saying I didn't know it didn't have I didn't even know it had UWB. So it doesn't
Pro
have.
has
I need
UWB.
background
The 6
on
Pro
both
does.
these
The
things.
millimeter
please.
wave is that 5G that they talk about that's super fast, but it's
Oh,
only
that's
in three.
the 5G millimeter wave.
That's
Okay,
3
sorry.
blocks. That's 3 blocks in New York and then 1 block in Philly,
Yeah.
and it's not very widespread, and
I'm not
certainly
worried about
nothing
that.
near you. So now let's talk about UWB because I didn't even realize these phones had UWB. Apple phones
Yeah, the
have
Pro
them.
does.
Okay,
Pro has
interesting.
UWB.
But I don't know if you're going to worry about that if nothing supports it.
No, the latest tiles have UWB
Ah, okay.
on them. They
Okay.
just came out, and I could really use the ability. Not $300 worth. There's going to be a theme throughout my thing today, which is like, I want one feature that costs, an exorbitant amount of money, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay for it.
Yeah, $300
This
more,
is the cheap Stacey
$899
show.
for the cheap Stacy. Stacy, that wasn't that
That could be a
Barbie's
whole-
friend, Cheap Stacy? I think it was. Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was Cheap Date Stacy. I've got it wrong. Okay.
Oh, so rude. So rude.
Pixel 6 Pro is I'm so sorry. I wasn't thinking of you. I was thinking of Barbie's friend. There is a Stacy doll.
There is.
There's
And she's
Barbie, Ken, and
awesome and
Stacey.
technically savvy and works for NASA.
There you
as
go.
was the case when I grew up with Stacy dolls.
There you go. So Stacy, it's a Stacy Barbie, one of Barbie's younger sisters. Light strawberry blonde hair, green eyes. She's a preteen and the most athletic of the Roberts. Did you know this? Barbie's last name is
Barbie has a
Roberts.
Last name?
According to the Barbie,
I thought she was Cher.
according to the definitive Barbie wiki, Stacy Roberts.
Huh.
Sporty Stacy. She's the sporty
Sporty
one.
Stacy.
Yeah, released in 1992. She's a tween doll.
Look, she's
doesn't have
believed to be
UWB
10
either.
years old,
Yeah, we don't know.
but the sources refuse to confirm or deny.
Well, a woman never tells her age.
Well, and she spells her name wrong, so we don't need to spell. People often confuse, by the way, Stacy for Tootie, the twin sister of Todd, before Mattel discontinued her in 1971. Tootie was replaced by a girl named Kelly in the 1990 Wedding Day Midge gift set as the flower girl.
Oh, Kelly's the cute, tiny one.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kelly became Todd's twin sister until Mattel renamed her Stacy in 1992. So you used to be Kelly.
Who says the internet is an awful place? It's a place where people go to the effort to build the Barbie wiki. I mean, geez, what more could you ask for in society? Oh, Lord.
Todd was discontinued in 1996. That's the saddest thing I ever heard.
It's a nice
Throw out the Todd mold.
Oh my God, poor Todd. Anyway, back to Pixel phones. You know who has a Pixel phone and talked a lot about it last night on All About Android? Google provided Jason Howell with both the Pixel and the Pixel.
That was a great reveal
Pro.
during the presentation.
You know, funny, I was watching the presentation today, rewatching. Two things really bugged the hell out of me, and I want to apologize to everybody. At the beginning, I didn't realize this at the time, but Jason's trying to tell me he has it, and I'm going, no. Here comes Rick Osterloh. Go. And so I'm sorry, Jason. I should have let you talk. I didn't know. Okay. The other problem is I was so irritated that I couldn't buy it, that I really wasn't paying attention. I kept interrupting by saying, I can't buy the thing. Yeah. So I apologize to you. That was very...
Jason just slowly moved it up into the frame.
It was very funny. Yeah. He had it.
It was like a Jaws moment.
Yeah.
It was kind of great.
So
I thought it was quite joyous just watching you and Mr. Jarvis
trying to buy it.
to try to buy the phone.
Jason is embargoed on a full review, and the thing I'm most interested in is images until next week. So next week's all about Android. He'll have a full review for you. But he had a reveal and was able to talk about it, in kind of general terms last night and all about Android.
Are you going to be allowed to take one of them to Mexico?
Well, it's so funny you should ask, because mine arrives the day I leave.
After.
So, which is a week from today. I won't be here next week, by the way. I'll be in Mexico, and Jason's going to take over the show.
That way.
Yeah, sorry. But it would be perfect to bring with me, because I'm going down to Oaxaca for the Day of the Dead, which will be, that's as photogenic as you can get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it would be wonderful to have that phone. Lisa's going to have the iPhone 13, so I thought we could have a shoot-off,
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun.
Lisa's will be better.
If you had your phone,
It's
I was going to
true.
suggest
She's a better photographer.
I was going to
She's a
suggest
better
give it to her.
Yeah. Maybe I should take the iPhone 13 and let her have the Pixel Pro.
Wait, maybe you should just
That would
send
be good.
Aunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Just
stow away.
Send a real photographer. So I'm going to bring the Pixel 6 Pro if I can borrow it from Jason. But we got to check with Google because it's loaned out to him. He signed paperwork and stuff. So if that is possible, I might do a swap. But otherwise,
Who knows?
I'll have to wait.
Mountain View may deliver our phones pretty quickly, sir.
I wish if anybody at Google's listening, I paid full $1. It's not like we didn't order it. Apparently, some people.
I tried to pay full $1, but you wouldn't take my
So
money.
you still don't have one on order?
You still don't
No, I have
one?
a 128, but I wanted the 256.
Oh, you wanted more. So mine is delivered October 27th and 28th. The funny thing is I also ordered very shortly thereafter the case, the Golden Glow case, and it is now pushed back to February 18th.
I went to Amazon for my case.
Yeah, so I said,
ordered the
I'm
cases
going to,
before
I'm
long.
going to get one Friday from Amazon. It's like,
Oh, geez. I just went to the Google store page.
yeah.
Who do they think they are? A phone company? Due to high volumes, we may experience long wait times for customer support. We greatly appreciate your patience. You're Google. For God's sakes, people, you had the hubris to think you could do anything. What happened to you?
So,
You can't run a store?
Google sold only about 3.5 million of these last year, total. And including, I think, the 5A. They ordered 7 million of the Pixel 6 this year. That's the rumor, double their sales figures from last year. So they're very bullish on this. Jason was saying during the event that they have spent and plan to spend even more, a lot of marketing money on this, that they're really going to push this phone. But it's interesting because even if they sell 7 million phones next year or between now and next year, that's like 1 week's worth of iPhones. I mean, it's a tiny number compared to Samsung and Apple. What do you think Google's ambitions are here? I mean, even their most optimistic projection is still a fraction of the competition.
I think it's showing off the new chip and what it can do.
Yeah, it seems like that would
Yeah.
be the most important thing in this story. It's just their capabilities for AI and all of it being on their own silicon.
So are they happy
More
if
so
you
than
don't
the
buy
phone
one,
itself.
but just that you see people with them and you see the ads and
Yep.
you get that
That's
general
only been
glow
banking
around
on
Google?
the last couple of phones, right? It's just the services of Google versus the services of having a Pixel device.
So are we weird? And by the way, it's not just us. It's Paul and Mary Jo on the Windows Weekly. I mean, we all bought one. We all like, well, I don't care. I got to get it. Is that just like, are we kind of outliers?
Lemmings?
We are definitely outliers.
Okay. Normal
this will
people aren't
require-
clamoring
But
for this phone.
it was, I mean, this could be like an Apple. But the thing is, what pisses me off is if it's like an Apple store where they create the fake lines, then we're manipulated. But maybe they just had amazing sales. Maybe it would surprise them. Maybe people liked it and wanted it. And part of the thing, too, is that because it was not a surprise, people didn't have to think and wait. They knew everything they needed to know.
They were ready
for
to
the phone.
buy the
They
minute
just
it was
couldn't buy it.
available. That's actually a very good point. Also, if you order by the end of the month, you get Pixel Buds A series, just what you always wanted, Jeff.
And I paid for the damn things because of Jason Howell. I got them, and then now I have 4 of them.
Oh my! Well, one for each year.
Yeah, exactly.
And other orifices. So I wonder if this jam at the website, I mean, look at, there's no way Google wanted this. They did not create artificially, this bogged down website because they sell internet services. They sell web services. It doesn't reflect well on their capabilities. There's no way they're going to besmirch their reputation on purpose. I wonder, though, why they weren't better prepared.
It's not their forte still.
It is that, but that's the point. It is. They claim
Web
to be a
services are.
networking company.
We don't know if it's like shopping sites.
Shopping,
right? That could be
right.
something. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot that goes into hosting a
I understand, but
shopping site that Google doesn't do normally.
they've had a store for years.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
People
How many
probably
people
didn't show
went to
up
the
all at the
store
same time.
besides the 4 of us?
Yeah. We all just jammed the store. That's all. Just the 3 of us.
But still.
Well, actually, I didn't. I
said
waited
people
until
got
the
their
afternoon
phone pretty quickly.
When are you getting yours, Stacy?
Delivery October 30th through November 2nd.
So I guess there was no real rush. So really, the problem, it sounds like, was not a rush of people, but bad software, because they were saying it was sold out, then it wasn't. They were saying it would be delivered in February, then it wasn't. People are already starting to get new emails saying, "Oh, no, we're going to have it next week, not next year." I think Google might have had a software issue as much as anything else.
Maybe they did. Maybe they had a database that just didn't update or something.
Maybe.
Well, at first the entire site was down, and we got 500 errors, and then you finally got the page to load, but very slowly, and then it was difficult going through the process, and then those of us who got to a cart, and many did not. I was afraid I was a human DDoS because I kept on hitting refresh, and it would give it an R301 error, R0 some made up error.
Yeah, we were all getting that error.
R015.
Yeah.
And then go back and back. And then finally, when I got to the next stage, that's when it said, "Oh, sorry, schmuck, gone."
Yeah, this sounds like a software problem. But, interesting, and your choice, the cloudy white version, is already out of stock.
Well,
Not
it said
even
that
delayed.
yesterday, too.
Did it?
It said that yesterday.
The
too.
others you can get. Let's see if I
Leo,
decide.
that's under your 5. Is that under your 5 page, or is that under? I think it's out of stock more than that on the regular.
This is the regular page.
Really?
Let me see if I can get a 256 gig. I do not want to trade in my phone. I do not want
What?
any of this stuff. Look
Yeah,
how
I
nice
traded
and
in the Pixel
smoothly
4.
the software is working. Let's just say add to cart. Let's go to the cart. Let's just buy this son of a gun.
Hey,
Check out.
It's working.
why
for
can't
you.
I do that?
It's like it's working.
Saying for me.
Oh, it's out of stock and has been removed
Okay,
from your
that's
cart.
what's Yeah, schmuck.
That's a little late to tell me that.
It is.
Right. Why did it let you go that
mine
far?
tells me when it's not available.
Like
No, it was
right
doing that to me,
away.
too.
It doesn't.
Right away.
Oh, now I'm feeling like maybe I should have gotten Sort of Seafoam. That's what happens when you have
The
two
green
Androids.
is pretty.
It is kind of pretty. It is kind of pretty, Stacey.
It is pretty.
Sort of seafoam, sort of pretty. It's the kind of phone Stacey Roberts would have.
Wow.
Roberts.
See, and
So,
I know
Leo-
having seen, yeah.
Yeah, I like this actually. You're right. It's pretty.
It's nice.
I do. I'm glad colors are
They're kind of Stacey
back.
colors. They're good Stacey colors.
Yeah.
Actually, all
I
my
wish it
colors
had
should
the
be
accents on
vibrant
the
and
buttons
loud.
like the previous models do.
What?
Yeah.
I love my little orange buttons.
Yeah. they
Oh,
have
that was fun. The
accents.
two-tone. Yeah. Well, really, ultimately, what it comes down to is this Tensor chip going to be as everything Google's talking about? Are the cameras
hope
going to be
so.
as good as I hope so too? The image processing, there's a lot of stuff in here that looks, and it would be great to bring it to Mexico because of the translation. Did you love it that they
yeah.
had Marie Kondo on the event? translating her, and it sparked joy, and I thought that was kind of cool.
That looked great.
She's
and
like,
looked
throw away
pretty
your old
fast.
phones.
Yeah. So I'm curious because let me ask you, Ant, did you know who Marie Kondo was?
I did because
Oh,
of
okay.
the Grapevine. I never watched the show though.
Yeah. I wonder, maybe a lot of people do. It seems to me that if Google's having Marie Kondo in their event, it's almost a way of saying, look how not geeky we are, right? Kind of how.
Yeah, I get that. More
I
pop
feel like she's the
culture-ish.
Google of cleaning, though. Like, she's the Uber geek of cleaning. Like, her method is pretty.
Yeah, she's a little
exacting,
OCD,
and-
isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, and when you go into like Target, is it Target now that all the Marie Kondo products? It's kind of
The Container
much.
Store.
She's very mainstream.
She's the Ariana of throw it away.
mainstream. That's the word.
Yeah, or
Not the Ariana,
Martha
the-
Stewart.
the-
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart. I mean, yeah.
Oh, you're
Ariana's
talking
on the
about me,
rundown.
baby. I don't know who you're talking about. All right.
Uma Thurman is playing Ariana Huffington.
Perfect.
In the rundown in the Zoom. The Uber movie.
Wait a minute. There's a
Series.
movie about Uber,
There's a series about Uber. Yes,
Really?
kind of like
Just
cast-
nothing about Steve Gibson. Really?
It's
Come on.
It's in
Halt-
the rundown.
Are they calling it Halt and Catch Fire?
I actually
see
enjoyed
what it's
Halt
called.
and Catch Fire.
That was a great
It's
show.
line 132, sir. Line
132. Let's jump down.
Bingo.
Way to the end of the show. This is a story from Deadline. Super pumped. Uma Thurman joins
Mike
Showtime
Isaacs
Anthology.
sold his book.
Oh, it's from Mike Isaac's book. Good for you, Mike. Super pumped.
Okay.
The Battle for Uber. Showtime's Super Pumped. See, I think people are going to see that title and think it's something else.
Yeah.
It tells the story of the ride-sharing company. Wow. Pivoting
Joseph
on...
Gordon-Levitt, Kyle
wait a
Chandler
minute.
from the Billions co-creators Brian Koppelman and David
Oh, this
Levy.
is going to be good.
Yeah,
Gordon
it is.
Levitt plays Travis Kalanick. Wow.
Isn't this going to be something?
Thurman's going to be board member Ariana Huffington. Elizabeth Shue, Carrie Boucher, John Bass. It's a good cast.
Yeah.
And this is a good team. Billions is a great show. And they're very good at showing how rich people, how the other half lives, which seems to be a thing now on TV.
Well, I was
All
thinking
really
today,
sad
where's
and
our-
poor, So we've got to aspire.
Yeah, something to look forward to as we decline.
Even this is all dystopian, right? Where's our Hill Street Blues, our St. Elsewhere, our West Wing, our hopeful shows? No, it's Billions and Succession and Super Pumped. It's all everybody's a
There's
mess.
Ted Lasso. There's
Yeah.
Ted
That was
Lasso.
awesome.
Jeff.
Yeah, Jason
I haven't watched
Sudeikis
it
is going to
yet.
be on Saturday Night Live Saturday. So
Ted Lasso was awesome.
I haven't watched. Somebody said that to me on Twitter. I have not watched it. I confess.
Okay, Jeff, I can't imagine you enjoying
Soccer.
it. I imagine you throwing things at the television.
yeah.
That's the
This guy
problem.
it's going to make him
Such a
cranky.
Soccer.
Yeah.
It's got nothing
It's
to
not
do
the
with
soccer.
soccer.
It's not about
Oh,
soccer. It's
soccer,
about saccharine
life
sweet
lessons.
homilies. It's
It's Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, it's Hallmark Channel.
Oh,
he
no.
makes
It's not Hallmark Channel.
he makes
He
butter
gets a
cookies.
divorce.
Well, okay, he gets a divorce.
It's life lessons.
That
But
never
he's
happens. on
by the
Hallmark
way,
Channel.
he's depressed for like 1 second, and then he just goes on and makes more butter cookies. So I don't know if he's that
No,
upset.
he has a panic attack.
Oh, he does. Okay, good for him.
Good for him. Really? Did you just say that?
By the way, we were a little concerned because this was a tough week. We got Apple on Monday announcing new computers. We got Google announcing a new phone on Tuesday. And then this morning at 7 a.m., Jason Howell and I are going back and forth. Should we get up at 7 a.m. for the Samsung Unpacked 2 event?
You had both decided the day before not to.
We have
You can't make a
decided not
decision?
to. No, that was the decision. And I'm glad we didn't because the entirety of the event was now you can customize your Galaxy Z Flip 3 in colors. It's like the Moto,
That's all
Maybe
they
I should have
announced.
gotten that.
the Moto
Yeah.
Maker. I have that, but I have it in a boring color, black.
Well, do you think that would be better or worse than the Pixel 6?
No, I'm getting the Pixel 6 for one reason, the camera. But I am interested in what they'll do with the Tensor chip. The Galaxy Flip is a great little phone, but it's just another phone. It's not world beating. And the cameras are good, not great as Maybe it's the photographer, Ant, but as Ant pointed out, the white balance is off. Still hurts. Still hurts, Ant. I'm not going to lie.
I'm sorry for the stinger, sir.
Did you say I'm sorry for the standards?
The stinger.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I have standards. What can I say?
Well, okay. And tomorrow is Google's Smart Home Summit. Tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Oh, now tell us.
Oh,
Should we
Tasty Day.
watch that? What should we do with that?
I don't know. It's their smart home event. So I don't.
Will you be watching it?
So at 10 a.m., I will be getting my face shot up with Botox. So
Oh, well, there are more important things. There will be live streams of it, so we could watch it.
if you're interested, but I'm just letting you know that is also coming, and I'm hopeful that we'll hear about Matter.
Matter is the joint venture between Google, Zigbee, a bunch of other home automation. Apple's involved in
Google,
Matter.
everybody, Apple, Amazon,
Amazon's in it too. All right.
Amazon, Google.
Smart Home Summit live stream. Michelle Turner, Michele Turner,
Michelle.
right? Michelle
It's Michelle Turner.
will share our vision for the home and preview upcoming tools and features to build your next devices and apps using Matter and Thread.
Yeah, I don't think it's not a.
It's for
device
developers.
launch.
It's for
developer
devs.
launch.
It's a developer event. Yeah. Well, it's going to be long. It's not 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 17. So
What?
what? 10 a.m. to
long?
12:17 p.m. So you might have
gonna
time
be
to get your
buttoned
face
up.
shot up and come home. After you get your face shot up, can you watch TV or do you have to go to bed?
No, I can totally watch TV.
So,
I write a newsletter after it.
that must be the fun newsletter.
She's that good.
And another thing about IoT.
It's just Botox in my skin.
I know.
Like,
I feel
here.
like it should make your brain freeze up or something. Like
Yeah, it kills
My
things,
brain
right?
doesn't notice.
your brain doesn't freeze up. Okay. And we should say, not that it's anybody's business, but Stacey isn't doing this for vanity. It helps with migraines, and it's a way of.
You do this every time, and
Yeah, because I don't want people to think you're doing this for vanity.
Hey,
You could be.
I do lots of things for vanity.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that.
I have to say,
I used
your
an eyelash syrup for
your
vanity.
brow is completely unfurrowed. I mean, it is.
I can't move my eyebrow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how people get it in the rest of their face because it does hurt a lot. But
This is a serious question, actually. How do you show concern when you can't move your brow?
well, Jeff, I'm really sorry about that. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
no,
as concerned
no.
as I get.
She doesn't care. You can tell.
That doesn't work. Yeah, she's not concerned.
She doesn't care
Yeah,
one
okay.
bit.
And
I also can't.
and the chat room is badgering me about the Sony camera, which is coming on the tomorrow. So they're going to have an event with the Alpha. But I can say I'm.
Is every
immune.
event pre-recorded now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, it has to be. I have to say, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the pre-recorded events are more efficient. They get to the point. I don't miss the live events
They
particularly.
could also just put out a press release.
Well, I miss being
old
live
days.
at a live event.
Yeah.
I mean,
Me too.
But that's a privileged position that we have. Well, not me, but
Yeah, we missed the privilege.
you guys have.
Yeah.
no, I just miss being in person and like being able to have hands on a device and
Yeah.
you can tell a lot more about it.
That's true.
And just
Exactly.
you also can, as a journalist, you can talk to people afterwards who are not journalists and be like, "Hey, was that exciting?" And it's much easier than just emailing everybody. And I don't know. I like seeing people. I miss them. I never thought I'd say that.
I know.
Saying
Isn't that amazing?
Much,
Yeah.
But I do miss being able to put hands on the products at these
Right.
events, or even like Adobe Max is next week. I miss going to that because it was being able to sit down with those other creators and pick their brains right there.
I think that the biggest problem I see with these is these events look much more like marketing than ever before. Maybe that's just because they're not wolves in sheep's clothing anymore. They're just wolves. Because it was always really an exercise in marketing. But they really looked like both Apple's event on Monday and Google's event yesterday just didn't, especially Google's event, because there was nothing new to say. They didn't do a folding phone. They didn't have anything that we didn't already know. It just looked like an ad, a program-length commercial. So that's the disadvantage of recorded. At least if it's live, there's some, I don't know.
If it's live, there's always that threat of something going wrong. They're doing that.
Yeah, a little tension. Yeah, that's not bad. Hey, let's take a little break.
Get less.
Go ahead. No, I don't want to.
I was going to say you get fewer images of like Tim Cook in a field, which is what happened.
That was a little odd. He was
Didn't
standing
you feel like it was a cult?
In knee-high weeds. Yeah.
I got some serious cult vibes. I was like, our supreme leader,
What's going on here?
Yeah. Anyway, all right.
It did give us the opportunity to make the pun that Tim Cook was out standing in his field, but that was about it. Somebody said maybe Apple's announcing a new lawnmower. That's actually.
Well, there is a new bill here. You can't have. They're not able to sell those two-stroke mowers or blowers and stuff anymore.
That's true.
Apple is.
Maybe Apple should make a new Apple leaf. It's the leaf blowers you can't use anymore.
Leaf blowers and weed whackers and stuff like that.
Actually, I wish you'd been with me, Stacy, on Monday, because I thought the chip news from Apple was very, very interesting.
I have so many thoughts. And if you want, you can convince me to try to buy something. So there you go. Well, it's only if you're into chips.
What was interesting to me, and I don't know if there's a precedent for it. I wish I had more background in this. But they showed the M1 die. And it's not a die. It's a system on a chip. So it's not fair to call it a die because there's memory in there. There's lots of stuff in there. But they showed the thing, the SoC. And the new one is then about 50% and then twice as big with the Max. And I think that that's fairly unprecedented to make that kind of leap in a year in processing power, in transistors, in capabilities. They doubled the speed of a chip that was 1 year old. Intel has never, as far as I know, never done that in such a short time frame. This is remarkable.
It's not but it's the SoC. It's not the whole, it's not the actual chip.
It's misleading to say 32 billion transistors because it's including RAM and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you have an SoC, you can have your base, you can have your CPU, right? And then you can add as many GPUs.
Well, and the RAM is on there, right? The GPUs and the RAM.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, I thought it was
we're going to talk about memory bandwidth.
It was quite a bit of flex on Apple's part to say, you ain't seen nothing yet. People were impressed with the M1. I think the M1 Pro and Max show that Apple has a lot of headroom in its chip design, and I'm very much interested in what they're going to do next year for the Mac Pro and the iMac. I think that this is moving faster than anybody anticipated, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I have again. Oh! I thought we were going for a break, but I will.
Well, we are, but actually, I can't drop this now because I'm really curious what you think. Yeah.
Well, here we go. So I thought their emphasis on memory bandwidth was really important, and the reason why is because that is the constraint on the chip in terms of getting data to the processor, right? And if you think about all the workloads, all the jobs we're asking our computers to do with machine learning, with graphics, all of that requires a lot of memory bandwidth, a lot of moving data around the chip. So historically, we haven't cared about that. But this is a sign that even in consumers, like every machine that we have going forward, that's going to be way more important than like RAM, or RAM is still going to be super important, but way more important than the
amount of RAM you have. Yeah. And it helps with GPUs. One of the concerns I had with Apple moving to its own silicon is they're waving bye-bye to NVIDIA and AMD. They're going to have to come up with something.
Yeah, they built a graphics-style chip in the sense that it can handle all of those data flows on the same piece of silicon and handle all the memory bottlenecking issues that have happened historically when you move to parallel processing like you do on a GPU. They built their own network fabric for that thing. That is amazing. That's what NVIDIA has made their GPUs so great, is because their network fabric has been good at parallel processing.
You could push 200 gigabytes 200 gigabytes a second over the memory channels.
Gigabits per second.
Gigabytes, capital B.
Oh, that's the amount of data. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
My brain
that's
just
the memory bandwidth.
went.
So this is really remarkable, I think.
And then they doubled it. And then, so the other thing to note from this is Apple is designing these for a future where every computer becomes a gaming computer, not to play games, but because of the future of AR and
That's right.
You can call it the metaverse, call it whatever you want. So that's what is exciting about this. So we're seeing Apple. It didn't do any like wicked awesome AR launches recently, but this chip is like boom, working on it. That is the underpinning of that.
I think that's exactly what the MacBreak Weekly crew has been saying, which is what, especially Alex Lindsay, is that it's interesting to we've been wondering why Apple's stuff, the phone, the iPad, and now their computers is so overpowered for what it's doing today. And it really looks like Apple's putting the pieces into place one after the other so that in a year or two, it's all going to come together with some, a brand new way to use your computers, which is this augmented reality. So I agree with you. I think that's
this for, I don't know, 5-6 years now with unifying the two OSs.
Yeah, it takes a while. Takes a while.
Yeah, you can't
Mac
change
OS X
architectures.
to Mac OS.
Well, but they've been limited also by, and this is what they finally, I think, got tired of, what Intel was giving them. And while Intel was stuck at 10 nanometers or even more, this is a 5 nanometer chip. They're going to go to 3 nanometers probably next year. And it's not merely the nanometers. These are, multi-dimensional chips. There's technology in here that, and this is the other thing I think is interesting, that it may be the case that Intel and AMD are just going to look at and dream of, but not actually produce. So I think they're lapping Intel and AMD and even ARM to some degree in a way that's really interesting. And this is a company that the chips aren't its business, but because its business is the whole stack now, the hardware, the chips, the software, the operating system. They're really going to be able to do something unique. Now, there's a negative to that, which is it's not open. It's very closed. It's a closed ecosystem. But it's the only way you could do a stack like this. And I think that's why it's going to be hard for Intel to come along and do it. They don't own the whole ecosystem.
Well, this could be why Google is so adamant about keeping up with the pixels and putting.
Exactly.
Now, most of their infrastructure is cloud, but I think it's probably smart of them to realize that server chips are not going to be in these edge devices. So you've got to build your own silicon for these edge devices, even if you're not super awesome in the phone, because you need to know what those workloads are going to demand and look like, and to have the capability to build for them. So
yeah, to somebody like me who covers both companies, it looks pretty much like Google is attempting to follow Apple's playbook. Apple says we're going to do everything on device to protect your privacy. That's what the Tensor chip is all about. Apple says we're going to put ML, image processing, and more into our phones. That's what the Tensor chip is all about. And I think that's exactly, I think you're right. I think Google's trying to build the same kind of expertise. And that question I asked earlier, why is Google putting all their eggs in this Pixel basket? And I think that's why. It's not merely to become a giant phone company, but it's because they need to own this technology stack to compete. And ultimately, when Apple comes out with an AR device, I think Google hopes to be right behind them.
So does Google supply chips to others then so that they can have the same capabilities in Android?
No. Although, and it's unclear, Google's not clear about this, I think Samsung has a big hand in the Tensor chip. I'm almost certain manufacture them, but I'm not sure they may also have
But
some.
how can Google win if they make 7 million phones?
Because it's not about the phone in the long run.
Ecosystem.
It's not going to be about the phone in the long run.
yeah, the phone is
Still always
just
about services.
packaging.
Yeah, but it is about the ability to use AI locally.
Yes. So,
Okay.
go ahead, Stacy.
So they're getting the experience. They understand what kind of demands people have on those phones. They get all of that so they can optimize their chip for those workloads. And but mostly
Do they share that? Well, I'm trying to see how it scales. Do they share that knowledge openly? Do they share specs? Do they open source things? How does if it's Google v Apple here, and the chip technology is critical to that? and Google can't make it alone on its own manufacturing and its own phones. That's what I'm trying to understand is how does Google then expand as Android did by making it free? Do they do the same thing with the Tensor chip?
Oh, I see what you're asking. I guess they could. That is a potential avenue for them to do it, like to open it. I mean, the Google chip is based on the ARM architecture license, as is the Apple chips. So they've highly customized ARM chips. Now, ARM is not open source, so Google could never open source
can't do that, no.
Tensor chips. Now, with RISC-V, I'm sure there's some engineers running around, and they could release something like that going forward.
I
think
really have high hopes for RISC-V, but I have a sinking feeling it's not going to be competitive with the best that even Intel can produce, let alone Apple and Google.
Why is that?
It doesn't need to be the best. The best at what? That's what's so fun about chips today is you've got so many disparate jobs and workloads out there. You used to only do one thing, which was power a PC that did like 10 things, right? Now you've got computers in everything, so they all need different levels of processors, and they're going to be running a million different workloads as opposed to like 50.
Yeah. And the Apple chips, some have even said they're Swift machines. The Apple chips are designed for a very specific hardware and software stack, all owned by Apple. You can't do that with RISC-V. Intel can't do that. ARM can't do that. Samsung maybe could do that, because they do make hardware. They kind of make software. Apple's uniquely positioned in this, frankly. I think the other thing, Jeff, and we'll end this, is the phone is an interim product. I think Apple and Google both
on the way to the blob. Yeah,
are looking toward the blob, maybe towards some sort of AR spectacles.
The metaverse.
Well, speaking of which, Facebook wants to change its name. That's our subject when we return in just a little bit. Stacey Higginbotham, it's good to have you back. I'm like, we need Stacey, so she's back. We don't really need Jeff Jarvis, but he's here. What can we do? So
you're stuck with me.
No, I'm kidding.
On a shoe, man. No, try to get rid of me forever.
Last week, I thank God you were there because I'm just going like all I can do when Cory Doctorow launches is go. So Jeff,
I just shut up too.
Thank you.
I put stuff from last week's rundown into this week's rundown.
We didn't do anything.
A couple good ones there. There was no chance of getting into anything last week.
No. But you were good. You asked him questions. You brought up stuff.
His brain goes fast.
It's very hard to keep up with. So were you too. And thanks to you and Jeff, I didn't have to do so much last week. Ant Pruitt's also here. Hands-on photography. Our show. I want to this is really exciting. Brand new, a sponsor I want to tell you about called Andela, Andela, Andela. Really neat idea. Brilliance is evenly distributed globally. Brilliance is evenly distributed, but opportunity is not. And really, Andela is there to solve that problem. You need talent. There's talent out there. Might not be down the block. Andela is a global talent network with a mission to connect brilliance with opportunity. These days, your company is expected to move faster than ever before. I mean, staying ahead of the competition has never been so hard. Talent has never been so hard to find. With so many priorities to manage, how are you supposed to find time to both build and onboard an amazing engineering team that will get you where you need to go? Andela has solved this problem. Andela is the world's first talent network connecting innovative companies like yours with top-tiered, vetted engineers, really good, talented people, so you have more time to focus on your core business. Andela is committed to your success with their combination of expert technical recruiters, proprietary matching algorithms. They connect you with developers who are the best in the business, enabling you to accelerate productivity, drive revenue, and scale your business. This is not the offshore developers that you're thinking. This is something so much better. Yes, you get the benefits of developers distributed globally, both in time zones. You can work around the clock. The prices are better. But you also get a global network of talent that is rigorously vetted. Andela knows you need the best talent. Their hiring process is quick and efficient, but maintains the highest quality admission standards. So you're really getting top quality engineers at scale. Global talent at your fingertips. In today's hyper-competitive hiring environment, if you limit yourself to just the people in, your region, you're at a big disadvantage. You may have already experienced that. There's a talent drain. You know, why raid the company across the street when there's such a huge pool of highly qualified talent around the world? But you need Andela to find them and to help you with all of this, and that's what they do. You can cut your hiring timelines down from months to days. They understand companies have to do more with less and consistently justify ROI. When you hire Andela engineers, you can expect they'll be already be efficiently onboarded and ready to deliver value for your team within days. Very efficient ramp-up times. And it's not, part-time support, somebody you're going to call up in the middle of the night. These people are embedded. They're in your organization, fully embedded, with at least 5 hours of overlapping working hours for the rest of your engineering team, so you can talk to them. I am a big believer in this because I know, and in fact, Alex Lindsay has always talked about these great engineering talents that he's worked with and trained in countries like Rwanda and Africa. And he's always said this to me, and it really resonated when I talked to Andela. Brilliance is global, but the opportunity is not. So here's your opportunity to take advantage of brilliant engineers from all over the world. I'll give you a good example. A company called Mindshare, maybe you know them. They partnered with Andela. They needed to quickly hire 10 new digital experts, and I'm talking data scientists, machine learning specialists, analysts, developers. Here's what the executive director and head of business intelligence at Mindshare said. As we continue to enhance the Synapse platform, time to value is very important, and Andela is a good partner in helping us identify the right talent that's fit for different purposes. This is your opportunity to tap into a wider talent pool, stop competing with the major tech companies down the street, spend less time interviewing. Brilliance is, I love that line. I want to write it on my wall. Brilliance is evenly distributed, but opportunity isn't. Well, now we can flatten that and level that playing field. And it's good for you. It's good for everybody. Here's the website, Andela, ANDELA.com /4-companies, okay? 4-companies. Andela.com /4-companies. You can schedule a complimentary consultation. In fact, you can even get a 2-week no-risk trial with their vetted technical talent. You could try them out. Little audition. Andela, ANDELA.com /4-companies. I'm just very excited about the mission of Andela and what they're doing. It's really, really, really cool. Check it out. Andela.com /4-companies. This was the headline that kind of knocked me out of my seat when I saw it. Facebook is planning to rebrand the company with a new name. So that's one way to get out of your problems. Got a kind of stinky brand reputation? Well, just
put a mustache on.
Put a mustache on.
It worked for Philip Morris.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can think of a lot of companies. They're another play from the Big Tobacco playbook. I mean, Exxon did this, right? I mean, it's over and over. This is a very common thing to do. We're going to find out more about this on the 28th, next week at the Connect conference. I'm just kind of stunned. It's meant to signal this is from The Verge, the tech giant's ambition to be known for more than social media and all the ills that entails. The rebrand would likely we're not Big Tobacco. The rebrand would likely position the Blue Facebook app as one of many products under a parent company, kind of like Alphabet, overseeing groups like Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus, and more. So no idea what this is going to be, although
I was trying to wonder whether because there were punchlines online. One is that Facebook has to send in its real identity and a driver's license. Name. That was somebody else's joke, not mine.
Oh, that's rich.
But Twitter wags came out. Is there any chance here that this is a kicking Zuck upstairs moment?
Well, if Zuck didn't have absolute iron grip on voting control.
But so did Larry and Sergey.
They chose to move.
Kicked themselves upstairs.
They kicked themselves.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Would have to be Zuck doing that. Yeah, he's got kids.
So does he say, Chris Cox, it's your problem now.
He's as rich as you could be.
You figure it out. You know?
There's some speculation. The Verge has some speculation, and I'll give credit to Alex Heath in his article, that maybe the name might have something to do with Horizon. This is a product Facebook's been working on in VR for a while, Horizon Worlds. Horizon would be a good name, right? Because they're looking ahead over the horizon.
My favorite joke was it's going to go back to the Facebook.
Because remember, Mark said metaverse is our next, big focus.
By the way, can we just put a parenthesis in here? Because I put something in the rundown a month ago and I never define the metaverse for me, please.
Stacy, you're the
Nope. Nope.
Not gonna
Not gonna do it.
Something all those sci-fi nerds love.
Well, my experience in the metaverse is from sci-fi, exactly. Neil Stephenson's Snow Crash is probably the first. Of course, very famously, William Gibson in Neuromancer talked about a metaverse. The most recent version is, Ready Player One. If you saw the movie or read the book, and in general, the notion is it is an indistinguishable virtual world, indistinguishable from the real world, that people spend much of their time in. Another alternate world that is entirely digitally generated.
Second Life.
Yeah, but Second Life is an immersive, and so that's a very important part, that indistinguishable from real world. It's got to be immersive. It's got to be as close to the real world as possible.
Yeah.
You agree, Stacy?
Yes. And that you will do more than just entertain yourself. That's, I think, the other layer there that's important. You will conduct regular life in this. This will be business. This will be entertainment. This will be
because you're not alone in it. You're in the metaverse just as you are in the real world with other people. Maybe in a way.
Who's running the metaverse? Who's handling the infrastructure?
By the way, that in almost all of these sci-fi novels plays an important part of the story. Is like, well, who's the shadowy eminence Grease behind the metaverse? Who's running it? Usually mega corporations like Facebook. And I have to say, I'm sure Zuck is very much influenced by sci-fi. He looks like somebody who's read a few sci-fi novels in his time. And so if he says metaverse, it's because it's informed by this notion, starting with Neil Stephenson and William Gibson in the more recent versions of it. It's certainly been a big part of sci-fi for decades.
Okay, but now bring it down to earth, if we may. What does that mean in Facebook strategic plans? What's the product then? What's the reality of this? That's what I can't get my head around.
So you would pay probably to be on the metaverse. Advertisers would be able to reach you. You'd have digital real estate that you could sell to people. So if you want to be in, think about kind of like in Second Life. There were
I hated Second Life.
No, but that's because it wasn't very well done. So here's I think probably the thinking Mark has. There's a scarcity in the world. There's a scarcity of real estate. There used to be a scarcity of advertising because there were only 3 networks and, how many newspapers, and, there was a scarcity. One of the things digital has done is it's eliminated the scarcity in advertising placement. Now there's almost an infinite number of places you could put advertisements, right? But there's still this scarcity of physical space. So I think just as digital advertising has changed the advertising world, Zuck wants to do the same with the physical world. And I think Zuck wants to own it.
That there is, in fact, it's the AOL, it's the walled garden of Facebook or any of these. But wouldn't a metaverse be the opposite?
Yes.
If it's based on the internet, it's distributed and it's open and there's no scarcity.
Wait a minute. You said 2 words. It is not distributed and open.
Okay.
Well, it might be distributed, but it could be. You and I would like to see that, just like we'd like to see a distributed open web. But
here's how it's going to develop, possibly. This is, I think, highly likely. You will have a Facebook metaverse, and maybe you start out spending time there because that's where you hang out with your friends. You're also going to have a professional metaverse, and that's where your office picks it. What's going to happen is they're going to have to build links between these the metaverses where you can just traverse between them and bring your data with you that matters. So that's how I think it's going to end up developing.
There's one other aspect of metaverse in science fiction that I hope does not translate into the real world metaverse, which is that almost always it's people escaping from a dystopian reality.
So yeah, I was going to bring that up. I was like,
Writing's
I
on the
think
wall,
in
sir.
addition to scarcity, we're going to have. I mean, if you think about kind of the havoc that will be wreaked by climate change, if you think about like our lives becoming increasingly miserable in the physical and real world, you will want to escape for. And depending on how good our technology gets, I mean, imagine if you can taste things that you can no longer access in the real world. That's a really good reason to want to be in the metaverse.
I've always figured, given my age, that I will at some point in the next 20 years be in the home. Let's hope it's a nursing home, not a
Just moved
sanitarium.
my father into,
Yeah. And limited mobility, maybe limited cognitive function. Certainly, I'd have to go to the bathroom more often. So the idea of putting on something that transports me to a cafe in Paris will be more than welcome, right?
Quite nice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like you're getting to the
Only
Matrix.
for
We're just
wine.
going to be logged into these things and imagining a better life for ourselves than what's
All right, odds that in our lifetime we actually could come back together after episode 4673 and say, "Yep, there's a metaverse, all right," or "No, wasn't that funny?" Ah.
No, I think we're heading
I think
directly
there
there.
Yeah, we're going to have that. I don't know if you'll be alive when the
Or
true
whether we'll
metaverse
like it.
of science fiction and whether we'll enjoy it.
It won't be the holodeck yet. That's another metaverse, by the way, from the Star
We'll
Trek
wait to
universe.
version 2.0.
And if the telcos build it, we're going to have to pay for every minute that we're in there.
Right.
And that's
Ugh.
not going to be the business.
I mean, this is a perfect example where it would be so awesome if it were federated, if it were open, if it weren't owned by any one company, and if you could build and create yourself, but that ain't going to happen because there's so much investment that goes into this. And I think
it'll
Google
be
wants to be
federated
part
over
of this.
time.
Maybe there'll be a Facebook and a Google and an Apple and maybe, and you know what, just as in the early days of messaging where these were silos, at some point people said, well, but I want to talk to somebody on MCI mail. And
Well, why wouldn't Slack be? To my mind, Slack would be the first best competitor because that's where I'm involved in communication that actually matters to me. And email's
they don't have the
broken.
tech stack to do this, though. That's the problem. I mean, then that's really what Stacey and I are talking about here is what Apple's doing, and I think what Google's doing is they are building hardware for this metaverse down the road, and that's why Facebook bought Oculus. I mean, that was the plan, I'm sure, from the long-term plan for Mark. It wasn't about lightsaber, Beat Saber,
Well,
being able to
is
play
this why
Beat Saber. It was about
Mark Benioff has decided recently to hate Mark Zuckerberg? Is he seeing himself in the competition in the future that a Salesforce / Slack business world is maybe a first? Everybody thought it was going to be entertainment, but after the pandemic and Zoom, what's 3D Zoom? What's a deeper Zoom? I don't know.
I don't know if this would ever be independent considering just
it's too expensive.
infrastructure costs.
Yeah, it's too
you know?
expensive. At best, it'll be federated where you'll be able to kind of step out of the Facebook. Maybe somebody be sitting across from you in the Apple universe, and you're in the Facebook universe, and you can talk.
And
to each
everybody's a green blob or a whatever blob. Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you'll get like unicoded down, right, to like a basic base in like
Right,
the
right,
Apple
yeah.
universe if you're coming from
But
the
look
Google universe.
Look at the big, right. Look at the big players in tech right now. The people with deep pockets, they're all aiming towards this. Microsoft certainly is. I can't think of how Amazon is, but I'm sure that Bezos is thinking about this. Maybe not. Maybe he was distracted by sending.
No, he's done.
No,
sending
he's already
Shatner
out
up.
the
Bezos
door.
is done.
Yeah, maybe he's done. Yeah.
He's already out to space. Remember?
By the way,
you know
Brad's
what the metaverse needs?
what?
Servers. And
Servers.
thus, Amazon is still in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. What am I thinking? Of course. Jeff's smart enough to go, I don't want to worry about the glasses. I don't want to worry about social. I just want to be who made the money in the gold rush, in the 1849 gold rush? It wasn't the gold miners. It was Levi's.
Levi's.
It was the guy who made the picks and the blue jeans. They just want to be the Levi's of the metaverse.
So anyway, so a new name. you think it's going to. So the presumption is that it tries to erase our current views, that it rebrands around the metaverse. I think it leads maybe to a different corporate structure.
Yeah,
But
maybe
generally, it's just going to be a punchline.
maybe it's more like Alphabet, right? What Google did, which said, "Look, we got too many things, too many irons in the fire. Let's have a overall arching
Yeah, you see, I
company."
can see Mark saying, "I'm going to go do metaverse now," and the folks in charge of Instagram and now Facebook, that's all your problem.
Well, that isn't
That'd be
it-
a
So
very
it's
executive.
Alphabet, not Altria,
maybe.
which is the Philip Morris company.
Right. Maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe it's more Alphabet than Altria. That's good. I'm the wrong guy to ask. But if I had $32 billion, you wouldn't see me coming into the office 9 to 5 Monday through Friday.
Go on.
Right? So I just wonder, at some point, everybody except Warren Buffett hangs up their hat and coat and gets to enjoy it. That's what Jeff Bezos is pretty apparently doing. They want to enjoy, what few years they've got left with their riches, spend more time with their money. Maybe that's Mark certainly got enough money. Maybe he's just saying, yeah, this is getting hairy. And you know what? If he were really self-aware, he would also say, and maybe I'm not the best face of this. Because he's not.
Maybe everyone hates me and I shouldn't be in front of this.
Yeah.
This is really
Yeah.
my baby.
Well, does he also see the opportunity to become Bill Gates, where they hated him but they don't anymore?
Right. Well, that's what always happens. That's what happened with Andrew Carnegie.
No, they're
That's-
circling around to hating Bill Gates again.
Yeah, we are coming back to that, aren't we?
Just letting you know, we're not fans anymore.
Isn't that funny how that happens? Actually, Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos' arc seems to be similar. I don't know. See, I'm the wrong guy. See, I can't imagine being as wealthy as any of these guys are and really feeling like I had to come to work every day.
I agree with you, sir.
Would you build a yacht and just go for a sail?
I would not build a
I don't even have to
yacht.
go
Good
on the
Lord,
yacht.
that is
I
so
would just go
rude.
to the couch.
That's what Bezos is doing.
I know.
By the way, highly recommend Brad Stone's newest Amazon Unbound, which is kind of the second half of his Amazon. I wonder if he's doing a trilogy, but it covers the more recent years. And it really is kind of an insight into what was going on. As we reported all these stories over the last 3 or 4 years, what's really going on with Blue Origin and all of Amazon's initiatives is quite fascinating. But it does, it does feel like at some point, maybe around 2017, Jeff Bezos decided to enjoy his money a little bit more. As an example, Jeff Bezos hated helicopters. He would refuse to go in helicopters. He thought it was a terrible idea environmentally. He thought it was dangerous. He was, of course, the king of frugality. He would make his salespeople, even when they're flying across the world, to fly economy. He hated helicopters. Then all of a sudden, in HQ2, as they do, remember this search for the next headquarters for Amazon, where he got 300 cities to beg and plead, please, Jeff, open a headquarters here. As part of the requirements, a helipad nearby, within walking distance, and everybody's scratching their heads. And it turned out it's coming from the highest sources. This is a requirement, a helipad. Everybody's scratching their heads. Then they find out a couple of months later that his girlfriend owns a helicopter company and is a pilot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Suddenly he loves helicopters.
He's definitely human. He's
a human
always be
being.
human.
Right. I didn't used to like cats. It's
But
Now you have one
I
you
love
just
him now.
ignore while you're playing video games.
I love them now.
literally strange bedfellows, little furry things in the bed with you.
I
Yep.
love cats. Yeah. So what else should we talk? Jeff, what do you got? There's so many good stories.
There's lots of good stories. Well, you want a little light thing?
Yeah,
You got,
sure. Let's
line 39.
throw in a-
Coding with eyes.
An amuse-bouche.
Amuse bouche, yes.
Coding with eyes. Build a small demo for my hands-free coding experiment, writes Charlie Gerard. Managed to write a little React component with my eyes in less than 30 seconds. I did want to write HI, not HY, but that's not the point. Thinking about how to build interfaces with limited input. Look left, right is super interesting. And she's got a video, which is really cool. We'll start it over from the beginning. Where look at her in the lower right. She's looking around. Wait a minute. Come on.
That's why I wanted you to check on this and see what you thought it was.
That seems like you'd have a headache in about 5 minutes. But if you didn't have any other way of inputting, of course.
Well, with my nearly deaf father, I'm getting much more respect for accessibility.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. So on the right, there's a palette of words that she can look at and choose. On the left is there actually a JavaScript code, and she's actually creating. Partly this you can do this because there's a lot of boilerplate in coding, especially JavaScript and Java.
JavaScript makes it easier.
Yeah. And she did, after all, type HY, not HI, but okay.
Oh, yeah, she said that.
Is she, let me see what her job is. She must be an accessibility
It's pretty cool.
senior front-end developer at Netlify, Google Dev Expert, and Moz Tech Speakers. Interesting. So she's just working on this on her own, I guess. Neat. That's a feel-good story. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, that's
thought
good.
so, yeah.
Here's one that made me
retweet her
feel
now
terrible.
during the show? Is
Huh?
it okay to retweet her during the show?
Yes.
I just want
Jeff's
to check.
retweeting
Somebody
every
else
5
does it.
seconds.
I retweet.
Yeah.
I'm doing research. This is how I find these things. That's how I
Jeff
add
is
things into the
tweeting.
rundown.
He's answering emails. He's probably
I had a
writing a
cookie.
Medium post right now.
We actually
You
busted
see the
Jeff.
painting I'm working on. It's beautiful.
You weren't here last week, Stacy. At the end of the show, I'm looking, and Jeff's like tweeted 15 times during the show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You knew this all along, huh?
Yeah.
Well, every
she
now and then
busted me
I'll
before.
check Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, dude. I mean, like I could read Twitter, like.
Well,
when
it's
y'all are
mostly
talking about
retweets.
something.
Retweeting
It's mostly
is pretty
retweets.
easy.
Yeah. You just push a button.
I was in my book history wonks, and there was a major scandal about an Oxford professor, and I retweeted that. Not hard.
You know, ransomware has hit hospitals. It hit the Sinclair television stations on Sunday. All the TV stations were shut down by ransomware. It has hit infrastructure, water, sewage. But this is a step too far. Ransomware hits U.S. candy maker ahead of Halloween. Lisa's going to be very
No
upset.
candy corn?
Ferrara, which makes, get ready, Sweet Tarts, Nerds, Red Hots, Lemon Heads, Pixie Sticks, and everlasting Gobstoppers, has had to shut down production in some facilities.
Oh.
Trying to fill orders before Halloween. Lisa's a big Sweet Tarts fan.
Yeah, I like
They're
sweet
good.
tarts too.
Yeah.
Good.
It's just sugar. I honestly don't get it. But anyway.
That's one of the few candies I'll eat. I don't eat a lot of candy.
Ferrara
That's what
first noticed that hackers were encrypting its computers, demanding payment on October 9th. They hired outside experts to help restore its system, disclosed the attack as it has to now by law on Tuesday. 3 Midwestern grain distributors have been hacked. A lot of food
That's
lately.
big.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of
big.
food lately. But man, keep your hands off my Red Hots. This
You
is
know, with this
subtitle.
ransomware though, it having a backup isn't always the answer though, right? Because what if the backup is infected, right?
So this, it's really interesting to watch, and you listen to Security Now because we talk a little bit about this on that show, as of you would imagine, with Steve Gibson on Tuesdays. But what's happened is evolved over time. So the first generation, I will call it, of ransomware was pretty pitiful. They would encrypt your computer, but then they would put up a notice saying, go down to 7-Eleven and buy some money packs and,
the
and mail
little
them.
cards.
Yeah, because they had no anonymous way of getting the money. With the ascendance of Bitcoin, that's when, in my opinion, the second generation of ransomware really took off, because suddenly they had a way. And at first they had to say, and if you don't know what Bitcoin is, and click this link, and here's how you buy Bitcoin. But as more and more people know about Bitcoin, it really is facilitated ransomware because everybody knows about it. So that was the next big step. The third generation was ransomware as a service, where talented hackers would create ransomware like Sodonokibi, which is one of the big ransomware tools, and then create, in this case, a ransomware service called Revil. And then that meant that hundreds of little untalented hackers could go to the websites, their special websites, and you'd say, yeah, they had affiliates, and I'm going to affect these people. The affiliate would use the ransomware software, pay a percentage to the REvil gang, and so they were making money, but also a lot of people who didn't have the real skill set to do ransomware were making money. Then another generation came along as people started realizing, yeah, good backup might be the solution. And what they did, inspired, I think, by the Sony hackers who did this, was they would get into a system and they wouldn't trigger the ransomware immediately. In other words, that email, that phishing mail, wouldn't immediately encrypt everything. No, the first email was to get them into the system, and they would wander around the system. And they were doing exactly what you're talking about, Ant, which is they would find out where your backups were, and they would make sure that they set off the ransomware bomb everywhere, including your backups, right? If they could, even in your offsite stuff. The other thing they decided to do, and they did this with Sony, is exfiltrate, before they triggered the bomb, exfiltrate information. And that's lately been the really deadly kind of ransomware. So they'll say to a company like Ferrara, that's not a good example. Somebody, usually a public company, we have all this information. We have all your customers' passwords and bank account numbers. You're going to pay us Bitcoin, even if it's not to decrypt your data, to keep us from embarrassing you. And so that's been
good old blackmail.
It's real blackmail. I mean, it is blackmail from day one. It's double blackmail now. So, yeah, it's been interesting to watch this evolve. And it's nasty. It's nasty. And then now they're starting to go after infrastructure. And that's, of course, why the U.S. government has gotten very active in this. And, they're actually looking at treaties and so forth to try to put pressure on.
Well, and the tech industry is really pushing hard. Like you saw Sundar Pichai just talk about it. Brad Smith from Microsoft is pushing. I mean, like all the tech CEOs are like, you know what? This can't be all on us, because they recognize the fact that they have a role to play, but so do the people actually deploying all these computers and infrastructure. It's like Google can't do anything. Just throwing this out, Microsoft can't do anything if your water plant doesn't have the budget to upgrade to like the latest Windows and create policies to prevent people from accessing TeamViewer, right, remotely. So some of these things, we're just going to have some sort of federal like mandates. We're going to have to have funding to get these companies that historically haven't been targets or don't have the budget for it and the expertise, because we can't mint that many cybersecurity experts. It's not feasible.
No. So, and it's as with all security, you got to do attack in every area, multi-layered defense. So you're also going after the payment systems, getting the Bitcoin exchanges taken down. You're going after the servers. You're going after every aspect. If you can get Putin and Xi to do something that might help. They don't seem to be all that interested, but you get other countries involved. Yes, you teach water control. You give them the resources, the money, and the instruction to keep them from, leaving TeamViewer open on their system. Yeah, you got to do it all. And fortunately, I think both the government and industry are taking it seriously, because it's bad. I mean, it's really, really, really bad.
It is really bad.
Yeah. The podcast business is booming, writes Sarah Fisher on Axios, but few are making money. Good. Get out of the business. Leave me alone. Only a few big players make meaningful revenue from podcasts today.
I am a small player and I make meaningful revenue.
This is another clueless article. I always say
meaningful, says Axios.
You didn't ask me. Downloads per episode. This cracks me up. Apparently, if you get 35,000 downloads, you're in the top 1%.
I'm in the top 2%.
Yeah, boys and girls, we are in the top 1% easily.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah.
We don't actually try to sell ad podcasts. We used to make it if you don't have more than 50,000 listeners, and we've gotten a little more. I think we're now. In fact, I think, Ant, congratulations. You just crossed the threshold with Hands-On Photography so that we can start to sell your podcast. So the reason we don't even bother if it's below a certain number is because advertisers don't. They don't care. And even if they did, because you charge per 1,000 listeners, it's hardly worth the effort if we're going to make $200, right? It's not.
Exactly.
It's not going to work. So I don't know where she got her information.
I bet she says in that article.
Yeah, it's from, it's PricewaterhouseCooper Global Entertainment and Media Outlook. Projected podcast revenue in 2024 will be $1.7 billion.
Newspaper magazine is going down.
Yeah. According to...
Time to pivot again.
Yeah, 27% down, according to PricewaterhouseCooper. But, I don't know where they get the numbers out of these projections and so forth. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, in getting a media, I remember trying to convince Fortune to, monetize my podcast, and they were just like, it's such a I was like, it would literally pay my salary and then some. And they were like, I was like, okay.
Now, the New York Times podcast division reportedly brought in $30 million in revenue in 2019. I believe that. The Daily was has been very, very successful in the area.
Who knows what
Trump.
they're spending? They're spending a lot.
Right.
There.
Vox, it says, is in the 8 figures, which is somewhere between 10 and 90 million, I guess. Spotify paid Joe Rogan $100 million to sign an exclusive deal. I think Spotify, it's pretty clear, is deficit spending. They're not expecting to make that money back.
They're overpaying.
They're overpaying, and they're investing because there's other ways they can make money. So anyway, I'm just glad to know that most people are not making money. Get out of the business. You're just making it hard for the rest of us. No, I'm kidding. It's actually, I've said this from day one, is if you want to do a podcast, don't expect to become rich doing it.
Do it because you want to.
Do it because you're excited about it and passionate about it. And then if you're, really are knowledgeable and passionate like Stacy and Kevin are, you'll make money on it. You make a decent,
Well, you can also look at it as a talent, what is the word? Funnel.
Yes.
For you.
Yes.
Find people who are good tech podcasters and hire them if you need
Absolutely.
to.
Absolutely. I tell Henry this all the time. He's by the way, any minute now he's going to hit 1 million followers on. Did he hit 1 million?
He actually already did, sir.
I put it in the rundown.
Oh, congratulations.
1M today. Yes.
Congratulations. So, but he's not making any money on it. And I tell him, don't worry about making money on it yet. Build your audience.
You got a rich dad.
Yeah.
Build the brand.
Not everybody has a rich dad.
No.
I don't advocate this for all creators.
But
I'll just be honest.
At the same time, I don't think it's a good idea to go into podcasting hoping to make a living at it. That's going to really hobble you, right? Have a day
But I have
job.
journalists galore who say, I'm going to start my independent journalism thing. And I always tell them form follows substance. Don't tell me you're going to make a podcast. Tell me what you're doing first.
Yeah.
Tell me your value first. Tell me who you're serving and what they need first. Then if you say I'm going to do a podcast as a form, fine. But they're trying, whether it's a blog or a podcast or an email newsletter, they're trying to make a living out of it.
Yeah, but you may not. I wouldn't recommend quitting your day job. If your day job quits you, then go ahead.
Yeah, different story.
Yeah, but you're smart, Stacy, and you had a variety. You knew what you were getting into, right? Or did you? Was it
I
just
did.
chance?
No. I had let me put it this way. I had 2 years of savings, so I could lose money for 2 years if
That's
need be.
exactly how you do it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go through 2 years of savings, though, I'll bet, before you.
No. I actually recouped my salary from Fortune this first year that I was doing it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to make $1 million. My revenue from my podcast it's a little over $250,000. So, but it's just me. And, I pay Kevin.
That's great. I know. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
That's something to be really proud of.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And
Again,
thank you
it's
for your
not
openness
venture
about that.
capital worthy, but it is totally
Exactly. We're not
viable
investable.
for.
Well, and
of this is
that's
investable.
the last thing anybody should say is, well, my plan is I'm going to get a big exit with Google or my IPO. You should,
Right.
even if you're a startup. I mean, I would. It's sad that a lot of startups do start with that in mind, and that's
their
That's not
notion.
building value. That's
Well, it depends on what you're after. If you're going to build like a whole new chip to take on AI, you're going to need venture money.
yeah.
But to start, a podcast is not expensive to operate, and my learning was taken at everybody else's dime because I worked for publications.
And by the way, despite his loaded dad, Salt Hank saved a lot of money, continues to work other jobs. He's not just sitting there, having fun at my expense. So,
But he's actually working at that.
Oh, he's working really
that
hard.
brand. I mean, you can see he puts work into his.
Oh, God, does
TikTok
he?
channel.
Yeah.
It's not
And
just.
he does not.
exhausted
And by the
watching
way, he
this.
also does not live at his mom's house anymore. so you can stop that. Stacy, you work really hard, right? I mean, when it's your own business, you work really hard.
yes and no. I did this business because I couldn't handle working 60 hours a week.
Were you working that hard
other
for
people?
Ohm? Wow.
Oh God, for Ohm, I swear to God, 60 to 80 hours. And sometimes Ohm, he's a lovely man, but sometimes he can be kind of a jerk to work for. Like,
Was he
you're like,
demanding?
no, he asks a lot of himself,
Yeah.
and
He has high
asks
standards,
a lot of
I'm
his
sure.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
he put
yes,
himself
and
through
he has
anxiety and
unrealistic,
heart attacks.
He does not have children.
Right.
So there was an incident where he called me when I was in the ER with my daughter, and I'm like,
Oh
"Hey, I'm in
my
the ER." He's like,
God.
I'm at a wedding, so I can't do this story. Can you do it? And I was like, no. My daughter's fine, and I'm at the ER. And he's like, oh, right.
Jeez.
And you're just like,
Wow.
but you would have to be pretty confident and strong to say that to your boss, to be like, buddy,
Good for
I
you.
love you. But
Yeah.
so, but those are the kind of things that I didn't want to deal with anymore. And
You want to be your
so
own
I
boss.
work hard, but I don't work as hard as I used to.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Neither do I. But in the early
There you
days
go.
of this, and I wasn't trying to build a podcast business at all, but in the early days, the first few years of Twit, I was editing everything and doing everything. I was hand creating RSS
Out of a
feeds.
tiny little
little
cabin.
Garrett, little attic studio. So, yeah, and that was hard work, but it was very gratifying. I would argue maybe even more gratifying when I had to do it all by myself, because at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
Kevin and I did the. Oh yeah, go on.
at the end of the day, you could look and say, "I made that. I did that."
yeah.
Yeah, Kevin and I used
Now,
to do.
Jabber
We
B
did for the
makes it.
whole year. The podcast for free, and I did it after hours at Fortune, and he did it after hours while at Google.
Yeah, that's the way you start. That's exactly how you start. And now your dog demands you. Now, I have to say, I'm not going to play this WNYC Studios thing. Does social media
It's I put it there, obviously. It's an
turn
excellent-
nice people
excellent
into
segment.
trolls? But I did read the article, and I kind of agree. And I was going to bookmark this as well. So I'm glad I presume you put this in, Jeff.
Yes, I did. You could guess.
But no, I also was going to put it in myself. So research by Michael Bang Peterson, great middle name, Michael Bang Peterson.
He's Danish.
Michael Bang Peterson. Well, that's even better. Is a professor of political science at Aarhus University in Denmark. He has conducted research as part of the Research on Online Political Hostility Project. According to Peterson, social media is a powerful tool in the hands, yes, of people prone toward political violence, misinformation, in the hands of people prone towards political violence. However, misinformation shared online does not make people hostile any more than, let's say, a violent video game makes people violent, right? So lies on social media, this I thought was really interesting, serve to connect people who are already prone to political violence. In other words, you don't go into social media and get radicalized.
Ha da di da di da. I'm a normal person. I'm just fine. Ah, I'm crazy.
Right.
Doesn't happen that way.
You go in there crazy and social media, then you find all the people and you get
Oh,
together.
you're crazy too.
Yeah.
What can we do together?
I feel like you might be predisposed. Like, I could listen to some crazy people. Now I'm going to listen to them a little bit longer. And then you become, like, I don't know if you're becoming radicalized or if you've already been, you know.
Well, I've certainly seen people go down that rabbit hole. But all of this is anecdotal. I mean, this is a study, so it's easy to anecdotally say, yeah, I can think of a couple of people who seem normal.
My favorite part of his argument was that he said real life is the echo chamber.
Yeah.
Our lives every day is the echo
We
chamber.
do that
People we like, people we're
all
with.
the time. We
all
seek
the time.
out like
And what the internet does is puncture the echo chamber and expose us to people we don't like.
What you've always said, Jeff, the serendipity of the internet, and that's why you want to preserve that.
Filter bubble.
Well, Jeff's always argued against there being a filter bubble.
Yes. And so does Axel Bruns in the book. In the book, Are Filter Bubbles Real? His answer, after much research, is no. And what Peterson is trying to say is, I mean, he's saying that these tools can be used for bad. He's not saying that, but the presumption of the process is off, and thus the interventions are going to be off, and that's part of the point too. So he's saying people come into this predisposed. That's point one. But point two is it's about this exposure to people, and somebody shakes us alike, like, I don't like those people who get vaccines. Wow, there's a lot of them, right? And I can see them now. Whereas maybe every day I go to the bar and I go to my work, I don't see them. And so I'm kind of happier and I'm less angry. And then I find that the objects of my anger are present if I'm an angry guy, which I'm not.
I do think, though, you would agree that, by the way, another interesting piece in this was that Twitter is the least likely place to radicalize people. And I think that's where you get that serendipity, that flow of other opinions that helps immunize people against, the filter, whatever. You can create your own filter bubble. You would admit to that, right? I do also think, though, that when you had to write a Unabomber manifesto, and it was a lot of work, that meant that a lot of people who were thinking that didn't do it. But now it's so easy to write a 280-character manifesto and fire, salvos, that I think there is a lot more of that just because it's so easy. Would you agree to that?
Right, yeah, I would absolutely. And so, but the intervention to that, to me, is what's interesting, because now we're in a mode of playing whack-a-mole with bad and crazy stuff. And we're never going to win at that. We are never going to win at that. There's always going to be crazies out there and wackies and hateful people. And so I did an interview with an Argentine editor today, and as he made me think about it, I thought there are two skills we've got to learn on the net, right? One, which I've said before, is to ignore more crazy stuff, is to give it less attention, because the goal of the crazy is so often to get attention, and the more crazy, the more attention, and that'll feed into your algorithm argument, is that if it's based on engagement, and engagement is that form, blah 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 blah. Though Fidji Simo said in an interview, who's now left Facebook and is now at Instacart, and she said that Facebook is a mirror of society, and she said that when people say, well, get rid of the bad stuff, get rid of the engagement, she said that's nuanced, because it might be you're engaged in a protest movement.
Right.
And maybe you do dislike people and you're there because of that. And so if you get rid of all engagement of that sort, you could be getting rid of things in political movements that matter. But nonetheless, we've got to learn to ignore idiocy better, and we've got to learn to say less idiotic stuff. But we've got to recognize there's just going to be a whole mess of stuff out there. And that's why I think that the next generation of the net has to be about selection and curation and finding that which is worth listening to. And this is where I go back to my hopes for Jack's Blue Sky, is that the speaking is a commodified layer that now everybody can do. That's no longer a big deal. But it was a big deal before. You couldn't get in the New York Times, then you could blog, and then you can tweet, and you can Facebook. Everybody who's connected, which is a limited number, but still a huge number, can speak now. So that's no longer the big deal. Now the big deal is, what the hell's worth listening to?
So this is perfect, because actually, are you familiar with Ed Zitron, Easy PR dude? He has a newsletter that's pretty good. And his newsletter for today was actually, we need to educate people about how the internet works. So we are doing all this crazy stuff at scale, and we never tell people how things work, how to choose what they see, how to like curate things. So they end up finding like dopamine hits. So basically, we've never told people not to do drugs on the internet, right? In the sense that don't go for those quick dopamine hits. And if I think back to it, that's a lot of what I tell my daughter about, engaging. I'm like, think about this. You will never unsee something that you see on the internet.
God,
so
yes.
really check
Right.
before you, and again, don't engage with. So basically, it's kind of like, it's kind of like the social mores that we aren't picking up yet.
Do you think?
I thought his article was pretty good on that.
Do you think telling people it's a Skinner box kind of inoculates them against the Skinner box?
I don't know if it will inoculate everybody.
No.
I do think it helps. I think it helps people, again, if you don't know the rules.
Right.
Knowing some of the rules will help.
Sometimes
I guess,
it's enough just to give somebody like that much distance and they go, oh, yeah, you're right. I see what's happening. And they can pull back. If they don't know that they keep hitting that lever to get the pill, if they don't know they're doing that, they might not be aware. But just a little awareness sometimes is enough. But the problem is not with everybody. Some people go, but I'm still going to hit it. I'm still
The same with a drunk in the bar.
Yeah.
You don't go
you're
sit next to
still
the
gonna
drunk in the
have
bar.
those people.
All got choices.
But think about doom scrolling. We before people started talking about doom scrolling. Was I doing it? Yes. But once I had a name for it and could identify the behavior, I was like, oh shoot, I'm doom scrolling. Stop.
Right.
Me too.
So I think there's value in that.
Yes. That
And
gives
the
you
other
that
thing is-
distance to see what you're doing and go, oh, I'm going to stop that. Yeah.
We need new institutions, and pardon me, we actually need a graphic for this. Gutenberg moment. The very first call for censorship of the press was in Italy about 20, 25 years after Gutenberg, where somebody pissed off about a bad translation of Pliny wrote to the Pope and said, you've got to edit this stuff. You've got to change this stuff. You've got to censor it. You've got to control what comes out. You got to appoint people to do this. And I realized he wasn't really asking for censorship. He was asking for editors and publishers. He was asking for the institutions that eventually were created to filter and find quality. Now,
But you don't want to go back to that gatekeeper model.
I do not
you?
want to go back to that. What I'm saying is those institutions are now insufficient for a world of complete abundance.
Right.
And we need to figure out and invent new institutions, and it ain't Facebook, and it ain't Instagram.
Right. And it ain't Congress either.
And it ain't Congress. And so smart people, I hope that my students, I'm going to teach a course, I think I mentioned this last time, with Doug Rushkoff in designing the internet.
I wish I could sit in on that one.
And
boy.
trying to get students to see that they do have agency and power to decide what the internet ought to be. And they can design an ethical regime, a regulatory regime.
Are you going to record those lectures?
Anything. There's going to be more discussion.
I wish you would record those.
And the great thing, by the way, is Doug wrote, I wrote, what would Google do? And Doug wrote, throwing rocks in the Google bus. So we come with this reviews, right? And Doug said, I love Doug, and Doug loves me. And he said the other day, I don't know if I said this in the show the other day, he said, Jeff, he said, we end up at the same place, which is we still believe we can make a better internet. We just get there differently. He said, I want less evil, you want more good.
That's fair.
And I think it's fair. I think it's right. I think it's just a different view. But the goal is Siva Vaidyanathan. I've had the same discussion with him, and we're kind of the same way. And so if we have that discussion that Stacey wants, if we have the ability to stand back and look at what we're doing, if we have the separation you just mentioned, and then say, okay, then what is it we do? We're going to connect with each other online. We can't turn that off. But how can we do it better? What's our purpose for doing it?
The point of that study, and I think in general, is you can do all that, and there's still going to be crazy people because they always have been crazy people.
Yeah.
And they're still going to find each other, and they're still going to be online, and there's really nothing you can do about that. You can't get rid of crazy. I wish we could. I wish there were a pill we could put it in the water, and all the crazy people would stop being crazy.
Crazy people make, amazing things sometimes.
No, we need the million Kafka. I agree.
You need Kafka.
Yeah.
And who decides who's crazy?
That's right.
Then we can
That's right.
Exactly.
So let a million flowers bloom, I guess. Yeah.
But just ignore some of the flowers.
Right. Or some of them are weeds, but that's,
cultivating them.
Yeah.
This
Some
is
of them are exploding cactuses.
just get as far away as you can before they explode.
Some of them are Venus flytraps.
This is the study I was referring to. It's not a very good one. It's from sapienjournal.org. There was only 17 people, mostly European, so it's worthless. But it's interesting because they asked people some statements, and there was a very strong correlation. People who believed in one conspiracy theory were more likely to believe in others.
Yes.
While engagement with Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, and Messenger were all associated with an increase in expressed conspiracy beliefs, engagement with Twitter was associated with a reduction in expressed conspiracy beliefs. And if I think about it, that's the difference between a strong recommendation engine moving you in that direction and a much more serendipitous salad of beliefs that maybe...
And Leo, I was thinking about your algorithm complaints, or moral panic is the case. Maybe just today with Twitter, because there were some tweets that I saw that I said, that's somebody I really care about, a couple of people I really cared about, and things I care about, and they popped up on my feed, and they were 17 hours ago. And an algorithm is... Now, that's not ad supported. That's Love Twitter supported, right? So it's a little bit different. But I think it is possible to recommend. It is possible to bring things out. But on what basis are we doing it? With what metrics? With what gauges of success? That matters greatly.
No, I think this is an old conversation about the internet, about curation. I think we've always recognized that there's such a volume of content. There's without some help, it's almost impossible to find what you want, enjoy your experience. So curation of some kind. But I think that algorithms that are tuned toward maximizing engagement alone, unfortunately, always seem to move in the direction of extremism. And so that's the problem. And so, I'm not against curation at all. What do we do here? This is all about curation. So I'm not against that at all. People do need some guidance in this massive information we're suddenly exposed to. I just don't want it to be automated algorithms tuned to maximizing engagement for purposes of profit. That seems to be a bad idea.
Ben Evans, who I'm a big fan of, the analyst, in his newsletter this week, a piece called "Stepping Out of the Fire Hose." He talks about how people have hundreds of thousands of emails. We have this abundance, and he thought back. I love this analogy. He thought back to the machine age, and out of the machine age came the arts and crafts movement, which was not an effort. I don't think
it was a reaction to the machine,
kill the machine, but it was saying, well, what do we also value? What do we also do? It was humanizing it, right? And so, what are the reactions to the net that can use a power saw, but it's still made by hands, and make us something neat? That's what's
humanizing.
That's what's still possible.
I'm not against humanizing the net in all of our flaws.
Well, there's some jerky humans you don't want to be.
No, but that's fine. I mean, that's why I don't have a problem with OAN, or people want to listen to Steve Bannon's podcast.
I have a problem with AT&T supporting and paying for OAN.
Well, it's not clear, by the way, that that's what happened, but whether it did or didn't.
I have a problem with my cable company running
right.
OAN, but
that's their right? It's a business.
Yeah, it is.
So we're not going to be you can't stop that. But you can still, write Jeff's Good Times News,
Yeah. What would Google do?
Let me take a break because I am so, unless you want a 3-hour show, I better do some ads here. We ain't going to get to be $1 million podcast without it. The conversations of this show are great. I have to say,
I love. Thank you for doing that story, and I also love the next sponsor.
Stripe.
I know people who Stripe's doing interesting things. Stripe also has a publishing arm run by my friend Kate Lee.
Yeah.
They're doing fascinating things you wouldn't expect of such a company. But I'm getting ahead of you. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, Stripe's, at its root, it's a payments platform. But it's a great payments platform. We all know Stripe because we've all encountered it. In fact, if you're a member of Club Twit, that's what we use for Club Twit's payment system. We love Stripe for the same reason that so many businesses love Stripe. First of all, it never goes down. 9 99.999% API uptime, 250 million plus API requests a day. It's super reliable. And that's, of course, that's kind of, that's table stakes. You got to be reliable. But Stripe is also a great experience, both for the people who set it up and the customers who use it. That's why Shopify uses Stripe. That's why Lyft uses Stripe. Kickstarter uses Stripe. These are businesses that are growing, that are ambitious, and Stripe has helped them grow revenue and expand to new markets quickly. We use Stripe thanks to Memberful, which is our subscription service, and one of the reasons we like it is because of the high conversion rate, the ease of use. It's easy to do refunds if people ask for refunds. It's just a really nice way. They take more than 135 plus currencies and payment types. It's really a remarkable platform. It's easy to use once integrated. Their single platform and world-class docs allow businesses to easily experiment, to scale and grow revenue. They do billions of dollars every year for every size of business. Hundreds of features and improvements added every year to help you stay ahead of the industry shifts. When you partner with Stripe, you can, and this was our experience exactly, free up your team to focus on other areas of your business. Our payments platform does not occupy any cycles. It just works. It works for our users. It works for us because Stripe is engineered with the world's most powerful and easy to use APIs. So it's so easy to get up and running in minutes, not days. And for those of you looking for a no-code solution, this is so cool. They just launched payment links. This allows you to sell online by just generating a link you can text or share with your customers to get paid fast. No coding required. Very simple. There's another thing I love. They've invested in our Earth with Stripe Climate. As a Stripe user, you can direct a fraction of your revenue to help scale emerging carbon removal technologies in just a few clicks. So I think this is such a great thing. I don't know if we're doing this. If we're not, we're gonna. I love that idea. Stripe is leveling the global playing field for people looking to start new businesses or expand existing businesses, whether you're a pre-seed startup or a Fortune 500 company. Everybody uses Stripe. It's just the best way to do payments. So whether you're an online or in-person retailer, whether you're a software platform or a marketplace, or like us, a subscriptions business, go to Stripe.com to learn more about how Stripe can support your business today. Stripe.com, really the innovators, the leaders in this area. Learn more and get started today. Stripe.com, and I can't tell you how happy we are to use Stripe, and I think you've all had a great experience. I know you have. Thank you, Stripe. Stripe.com. Let's do some fun stuff. I think I didn't talk about on this show yet. Waymo, Google's self-driving vehicles, seem to have a problem with just one street in the Richmond district of San Francisco. It's a dead-end street, and for some reason, Waymo vehicles seem to want to head down that street and then do a big U-turn. This is Channel 5's report upon this. I want to show, because there's some video in it. I won't turn on the audio. They interview one of the people who lives in this dead end, Jennifer King. She said, "I noticed it when I was sleeping. I awoke to a strange hum. I thought there was a spacecraft outside my bedroom window. No, it was this."
That's how San Francisco.
It was a Waymo vehicle making a Yui. And apparently, for some reason, like, I don't know, fish, they're attracted to this dead-end street. They all go down it and make a U-turn. There's some days there can be up to 50, literally every 5 minutes. We're all working from home, so this is what we hear. As Channel 5 was there recording, it was easy for them to catch a bunch of Waymos making this Yui. Now, there's a safety driver, but the safety driver doesn't get involved. The Waymo's just taking the best route, and that's exactly what Waymo says. "We continually adjust to dynamic San Francisco road rules," which, as anybody who's driven in San Francisco knows, yeah, they're dynamic, all right. In this case, cars traveling north of California Street on 15th Avenue have to take a U-turn due to the presence of slow street signage on Lake Street. So the Waymo driver is basically obeying the road rules. But see, this is the thing. You and me, when we drive down that street, we go, just keep on going. I don't make a U. I'm not going to stop, make a U-turn, go the other way. No, slow streets. I got it. I'll slow down. But the Waymo takes it seriously, a commercial vehicle, I guess, and so they can't go on the street. So they get there and they turn around by the dozens.
This is so fascinating from hey, how will robotic driving or delivery or any other like automation kind of thing change the value of the real estate of your home or your business?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Because we kind of talked about that with the Starbucks, or not the Starbucks. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago with drone deliveries.
Oh, yeah.
didn't we?
Well,
Waze does it.
This has to affect these houses on the Richmond District Street.
Well, yeah. I mean, like if you're
You
like
have to disclose it. Well, there's one little problem. How do you feel about electric vehicles?
you can always catch a cab here.
Yes, there you go. It's just about spin. That's hysterical. So they're seeing the sign that says slow street. And because the point of those signs is the city put those up to limit commercial traffic through residential districts. So I guess the Waymo says, I'm commercial. I see that sign. Got to turn around. And as I said, anybody else just going to, UPS driver goes, screw that. I got a delivery to do.
Or you got to keep rolling.
Yep. Hey, praise to Google for this. Bloomberg is calling this a moonshot. They want to be the first giant company run without emissions around the clock. And their goal is to do this, I think.
No offsets, no buying carbon, being zero
literally
carbon,
using
period.
zero carbon. And they want to do this but when do they want to do this? It's committed to go free of carbon without using offsets, relying only on clean energy purchased near its locations 24 hours a day. I don't see the year, but I think they want to do this faster than anybody else. I mean, Apple said we want to do that by 2030, Amazon by 2040. But a lot of that is buying carbon offsets to be carbon neutral. So good on you. I think they've been a leader in this, and I'm glad it's not merely carbon offsets, but they're really going to attempt to get renewable energy for all of
They've got to figure out
operations.
the battery situation and how to do that.
Yeah.
Have I talked about this in the show? Our friend Bill Gross, his company EnergyVault.com.
No, we know Bill, of course, and his,
Bill's wonderful.
his incubator.
Bill's a
Yeah.
great guy. So look at Energy. We got to get him on the show, by the way. EnergyVault.com, which Bill says that every place where you can store energy through water, setting it up to the reservoir and getting it back down is pretty much taken. So Energy Vault moves blocks of cement, in rough words,
I have
up
seen
and
this.
down.
Yes.
What?
And so this is the kind of thing that Google's going to have to.
So
gonna have
here's
to
the
invest in.
problem. This is the problem. The sun is out, just pouring energy onto the surface of the earth. But the problem is at night or in the clouds, it's not putting any in there. So how do you somehow you have to find a way to store that energy? So what they do is during the day when the sun is shining, they do heavy things. And then at night, they can undo the heavy things.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. So you do the same thing with hydro sometimes. You'll pump water uphill and then you run it downhill to
Precisely.
generate.
That was the inspiration.
Yeah. So what are they doing? They're moving big
blocks.
Blocks?
Yeah, which lets you kind of take waste material too and turn that into the blocks.
Oh,
so
they
they're
don't put it
useful.
down.
They're heavy.
It's like a clock. They wind it up in the daytime and then they let it run down at night and generate electricity. Oh, clever.
So that's a different way to store energy that doesn't use batteries and chemicals and everything else. It just uses blocks.
It's just like a clock, right?
Yeah.
Every morning I get up, my cuckoo clock, the little pine cone weight right to the floor. I pull it and put energy into it, and then the rest of the day when I'm not around, it's slowly going back down.
So they raised $1.6 billion in a SPAC deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here they are doing a slewing test.
What's a slew?
I don't know. The only problem is, I got to say, I don't want to live next door to this disgusting, ugly crane.
No, I was suggesting to Bill that he should do this inside unused skyscrapers. We don't need any more because of offices.
Yeah, there you go. Because there it is. There's this brick. So it lowers the brick to generate electricity. And it does this autonomously, by the way. There's nobody sitting in the cab there pressing buttons.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the kind of entrepreneurial thinking I like. Yeah.
Moving concrete. Well, anyway, so Google's going to have to work on those kinds of technologies as well as the gathering of energy. The storing and transmission of energy is going to matter.
It always bugs me. There was another article saying the only way to a sustainable future is nuclear. And it always bugs me because there's so much energy pouring onto the surface of the earth from the sun that really, and it seems to me that seems like something we should be taking advantage of.
It's too logical, sir.
Just, it's there for the taking. We just have to figure out how to store it. That's really the biggest problem. And get more efficient at collecting it. I've got almost 100 solar panels on my roof now.
Jeez.
Nice.
I would have more, but PG&E does not want us to go into competition with them. Our local power company, literally, the truth is their business, their money-making business is building power plants. So they don't want homeowners to be generating more electricity than they need, pumping electricity in the grid, because that makes their power plants less valuable.
How do they stop you? How do they
won't let you.
Don't buy it?
They won't. Yeah, I guess if I were off the grid, I could do whatever I want. But I'm on the grid.
They implement rules like they charge you to sell your energy back. Arizona started doing this to people.
It's so annoying.
Jeez.
Because if everybody in California decided, let's put a solar, this won't happen. But if they did, we could put PG&E out of business. That's what they're afraid of, by the way. And I have big batteries in the house because it's the same issue, right? So we have big Tesla power walls, which is, as I remember, are recycled Tesla car batteries. And they charge up during the day and they discharge during at night. Now, if we could find out how to do cold fusion, then we're golden.
Oh my gosh, the New Yorker did a whole story on this. I was like, it must be time for the every once a decade cold fusion story.
Yeah, they could put that right next to the quantum computer story.
Quantum computing.
Yeah.
We've had movement in quantum
paperless
computing.
offices.
And
that's true. We've had zero movement in fusion.
That's not true.
Cold fusion.
We have had new materials. I just read the once a decade cold fusion article in the New Yorker. We have had graphene, baby. No, we've had new materials science come out that helps us build more efficient magnets.
Oh, good.
For those, remember, you got to have a superheated magnetic bottle to move the plasma. Anyway.
I'm all for cold fusion, man. When they come up with that.
Is.
Yeah, sure.
You know what? It sounds like a really good drink.
Ice cold fusion.
I'll take a pint of cold fusion, here. Please.
There are actually 25 cold fusion startups right now that just have gotten funding in the
there
last
you go. So maybe
years.
it's not.
Crazy.
Maybe it's not.
Sorry, I had to say it.
Maybe it is time. No, keep us up to date on those things. That's
a couple Amazon stories.
Sure.
You looking?
Amazon and Starbucks going to launch a co-branded lounge that combines the ghost stores with a cafe. There are some great anecdotes about the Amazon ghost stores, by the way.
Really?
In Brad's book. Oh, yeah. It's really funny. They had a lot of problems early on. It was technically a very challenging thing. For instance, what if people bring in children?
Oh, yeah.
Who do you charge? If the child takes something off the shelf, you have to attach a child to an adult. And children, especially, in a certain age group, like to move things around.
All the time.
They're like they're really messing up things. So that was an issue, is children. It was apparently not an easy thing to do. And they went through a lot of iterations on the Ghost Store before they got it working. So the Ghost Store,
I'm trying to figure out how this. You walk in. Does it know? Oh, he just walked in. You're going to get a latte.
You scan your phone.
It's scan your phone.
You scan your phone.
There's an Amazon Go app, and you scan it. Here's my Go app.
They do
right, but you still need somebody to make the coffee as opposed to the Amazon Go store.
Oh, there are more people behind the counter in the Amazon Go. Their excuse for this is don't worry about the checkout people. There's more people behind the counter than ever. Although in the early days of the Amazon Go, they really wanted to have it be kind of a boutique-y store with cheese and meats and all kinds of stuff. It was a horrible flop. And Bezos at one point goes in and says, "Get rid of all the fresh food."
That's the thing. You can't figure out how to control
wrap.
stuff like that.
It has to be jarred in bottles, and there has to be nice units. But I guess with Starbucks, they see you make your order, they see you take your order. How do they know what you ordered? How would they know it's a half calf, half decaf, half calf with a triple order of
What did you just
triple
say?
shot, a half calf decaf with triple shot of hazelnut and a half twist of lemon?
167 degrees exactly.
Yeah, how do they know what to charge you? I mean, how would they know? They read your lips? Maybe they're listening. Maybe Alexa knows.
Well,
blob presence.
Starbucks actually uses highly censored coffee machines in their store. So maybe they just can censor up whatever coffee gets made. That's what they charge you for.
They can tell. This is ordering a coffee LA style.
I'll have a half double decaffeinated half cap with a twist of lemon.
The Ghost Store just went crazy.
What is that from? I've never seen that.
Is it LA Story?
LA Story.
Oh, what a great show.
Okay.
Yeah, what a great
Steve
movie.
Martin.
Yep.
So above that story, David, this just happened. I just discovered this because I was looking at Twitter during the show. See, because I do my research all around the clock. I never sleep. I never stop. I constantly look for stories. I put it in there. David Cicilline, the representative, is complaining about Amazon and its
Private
products.
labels. Private labels. Yes.
And Ben Evans is brilliant on this topic and brings out the history of it. That's what Sears did. That's what everybody.
Oh, I
that's
love
what,
this.
That's what your grocery
Listen
store
to,
does.
so this is the tweet from the member of Congress, David Cicilline. Imagine, you don't have to imagine too hard. Imagine if you ran a store and knew exactly which products would sell best. Rather than competing on the merits, you just copy those products down to the smallest detail. Now imagine you place the original on the next aisle on the highest shelf out of view. You can't lose. And that's exactly what Safeway and Kroger's and Piggly Wiggly do with their generic and house brands. That they've been doing that for years.
Sears did it a century ago.
Yeah. So this was, by the way, again in this book, this is Amazon's response is, we're not doing anything. They always pretended that this was the problem. Amazon, instead of being aggressive, said, look, this is America. This is how you do it. They pretended that there was a Chinese wall, and they didn't share any of this data. And and I think they maybe created this problem for themselves by pretending that they didn't know, because they obviously
Yes,
did.
exactly. They could have said we do what retail does.
Yeah,
and it's a tiny part of their revenue versus it's like 20% of those stores you mentioned, and it's 1% of Amazon.
Yeah. Benedict
Leo,
Evans
I need you to translate something for me.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Stacey.
No, I was just going to say, at least in grocery stores, the house brands are actually usually made by companies that make
Right.
the name brands too. So they're getting money.
Well, you don't think Jeff Bezos is sewing those sheets he's selling me?
Of course he is. Of course he
No,
is.
but they're not
Lovingly.
necessarily going through.
They may be starting a whole business around it. Yeah.
They're
Benedict
doing-
Evans says, you could argue Amazon's use of marketplace data is unique since their suppliers are also their customers, but every retailer on earth has copied and competed with their suppliers since the 19th century. This is 20 to 30% of sales at most big retailers. He has a chart, Smart and Final, Kroger's, Macy's, Lowe's, Costco, and it's all in the 20s. This is an FTC study from the 1930s. 80% of the stores in the U.S. sold private labels. And this is Sears from a century ago. He says to Cicilline, well done. You discovered retailing.
I love the guy. Ben is the greatest.
Ooh, burn.
And he does it with an accent.
But you're right, Stacey. Maybe it is quantitatively different or qualitatively different because Amazon isn't just buying house brand Cheetos from Frito-Lay. They're creating a Cheetos company. They're making up their own factories and all that.
Yeah,
Are they?
I mean, I honestly don't know. Amazon's supply chain.
I don't know. Are they
on
doing
Amazon
factories?
Basics is so opaque.
Yeah. Well, we don't. Yeah.
Their batteries suck.
Would it be? Now, see, I don't think Amazon's making their own batteries. They've got to be buying them from some big battery company, right?
Yeah, they're buying bad batteries.
Some crap battery company.
I don't have a problem with Amazon's batteries. That's all we buy.
Amazon's batteries have lasted. I mean, the
Yeah.
devices I put them into, they last just as long.
The damn
I'm with
fire
Mr.
smoke
Jarvis on this
alarms.
one.
I won't allow them in the smoke alarms anymore.
Oh, because you don't like
we don't
climbing
allow
up
them
a
in our
ladder?
smoke alarms. Their 9 volts
all
are
day,
terrible.
3 in the morning.
Oh, you all agree.
Yeah, the 9 volts are bad. But they're double A's and triple A's. Fine.
I'm trying to remember what I put
Why
in mine.
can't we? Why is it Stacy, Ms. IoT, Queen of IoT? Why is it that you have to stand under 5 of the different smoke alarms to figure out which was the one that's out of the battery? Why is this so hard?
Because yours aren't connected.
No.
Because you haven't paid $150 per smoke alarm for a connected smoke alarm.
Mine are
Jeff.
connected. Okay, now I got a question too. I'll answer Jeff's, then I'll ask you. Jeff, it's because of the frequency is so high. We are not very good at locating that frequency.
Is that an age thing, sir?
No, everybody. It's the
It's just teasing.
It's a
just
human
teasing.
ear thing.
human ear thing. But I'll ask Stacy this. We also have connected alarms which are powered, but they have a battery, I assume, for backup. Why is it I have to change the batteries on them? Because the power
Because
goes out?
after a certain period of time, the battery might not be as effective. It's a safety
Yes.
thing. That's all
Okay,
it is.
'cause it might go
That's
out.
like an extra. Yeah, because the battery might leak. It might do whatever, and you got to keep an eye on that. You're supposed to actually replace your smoke detectors every like 10
What?
years.
Oh, because, the radioactive stuff runs out.
We're trying to get our electrician to come, but you can't get
Well, I haven't
electricians
been
to
anywhere
come.
for 10 years, so I'm good.
This is the Great Resignation. That was that article I was referring to in The Atlantic. People who had crappy jobs are not going back to them.
And they're sharing their unhappiness with the world now.
And there's such a demand for people who know how to do things like electricians, plumbers, handymen of all stripes, that they don't even have to return your call. They just go, no, I don't need your business. Go elsewhere, my friend.
Sometimes they'll come out and give you estimates,
And then
and you
disappear.
never hear from them.
Yeah.
Like you spent time at my house.
This is
happened
interesting.
here.
Yeah, this is a universal problem.
So line 140, Leo, is related.
As we swoop down to line 140,
We'll go back up, but line 140.
I quit. Reddit users are posting their angry resignation texts to their bosses on an anti-work subreddit. Okay, we have had some interesting ways of quitting. We have had one person quit by text. I don't think that's nice. We did have one person quit by bringing in a dozen donuts, putting them on the counter, and then saying, I quit and leaving. So now when people quit, we call it dropping donuts. By the way, that person several years later came back and said, can I have a job? And said, not without donuts. And then, but I think the best way to quit, am I wrong, is to go in person, put on your big boy pants and go in and say, I'm leaving.
Yeah, but these cases, if you go to the Reddit subreddit, they have jerk bosses who are trying to roll around, and it's that wonderful moment where you just say, effective immediately.
I love this. Here's one. The boss texts, because now if the boss texts you, that's different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
it's
It
different
opens
then.
The boss texts you, we are going to talk about this attitude when you come in Sunday. To which he replied, no, we're not. Bartenders are needed all over the place now. I think I'll just go work at one of the dozens of places hiring around here. I'm fed up with you. To which the boss says, give me a call. Don't make such an impulsive decision.
Too late.
You're making a mistake because you're drunk and you think it's a good idea. When you wake up tomorrow, you are going to regret this. I can't print the response.
My body part.
Okay, I am now following this Reddit. It's the /r anti-work Reddit. And I guess it's unemployment for all, not just the rich. I'll be joining this one.
So yeah, it's I think there's more strikes coming back. I think unions are going to be pushing back. I think we're going to see big labor change, huge differences in pay, inflation as a result, but that's fine because the pay needs to go up. It's a fascinating
Do you think
moment.
it will change our immigration policies? This is something I've been thinking a lot
should.
about because, well, it should, but
How
we've
so?
got such a vitriol against immigrants
Foreigners.
that
Oh, well,
I'm really intrigued.
that and the fact that 700,000 people are dead through to COVID, I mean, that's not
has
surprising.
an impact.
That has an
Well,
impact, right?
Not just the people who are dead from COVID, right? There's the people who are dead. There's the people who have long COVID, which
Right.
is a problem.
Right.
And people
And
are
then there's
afraid to
people
go to
who are
work.
like-
Yeah.
My husband died, and I am now a single parent, and my life is
Right.
total crap, right?
The
So,
people who have to
that's a
deal with their
lot.
kids not being at school, and you want to know why I worked at home for a year, and why would I go back to that hellhole we call an office?
That's a big battle there. people have gotten more.
Not that you're
comfortable
saying
with
it's a hellhole
working
at
from
Twit
home.
there, Ant. I know.
Ant's like, let me be judicious here, but
We're trying to give you snacks.
Again, I
Take
worked
the
from
coffee
home
maker,
for
please.
most of
Just
my
take it home, Sand. You can
Okay,
have
he
it.
said it. He said it, folks. He said it.
Ant's not coming in without donuts, damn it. It's donuts,
the
damn
best,
it.
The best part about these texts on this Reddit forum is, in almost every case, the boss says, "Wait a minute, think it over, don't rush."
Right.
It's like, oh man, that's got to be satisfying. You know,
Yeah.
please don't quit. Whoops.
It's been sad though, just seeing at least here in this area the businesses that are either struggling because they don't have the work staff or struggling because they couldn't come back. I really hate going into the grocery store nowadays because there's never enough help in there. The lines are
that's right.
ridiculously
Everywhere.
long. And
We went to a restaurant and said, "Please pardon the slow service, but we can't hire enough waiters, and
Right.
and so it's just going to be slow. Sorry."
Because people
Starbucks
don't
around me are
either
limiting
not
hours.
being paid enough, or they're like, you know what, I make more money sitting at home.
Well, that's the
versus
question.
going in.
So if you quit this, look, nobody should be working for minimum wage at a terrible job they hate.
Yeah.
But do you go to another job? Are there better jobs waiting for you? or-
Lots of places are hiring now, yeah, and they're giving bonuses. I mean, McDonald's is paying more and giving bonuses to start.
McDonald's near me
McDonald's.
pays $16 an hour.
But having worked at McDonald's for several years, I can tell you it's not the best job ever.
No,
You know the
No,
only.
but if you're like a teenager,
Oh, it's a great job for a
Ooh.
teenager.
That's a great gig.
And I
Were
was
you a
making
spud boy, Leo?
I was making $2.35 an hour. So,
what was your specialty at McDonald's? now?
well,
Were
you
the
start. No, you work your
condiments?
way up. There's a
Yeah.
progression. I started at the counter. You know, would you like fries with that, sir? You want a nice apple pie? And then you get to work the soda machine. Then you do work. Eventually, you get to go to this fryer vats. That's dangerous
have a
because
robot do the soda machine now.
not anymore. Yeah, well, yeah, not anymore. These jobs don't exist. But then the fryer vats, and then you work your way up to grill, and then after you do grill, then you work your way up to closer, and then manager.
Yep, got a key
And
in.
and you get a key, and then eventually, you get to go to Hamburger U.
Whoa!
And that is the pinnacle. And actually, that's why I got fired, because the manager sat me down and said, "I have a feeling you don't want to become management." I said, "No, why not? It's a summer job, dude. Give me a
My
break."
manager at Ponderosa Steakhouse tried to convince me not to go to college because you got a future here, kid.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah, it's kind of the same, huh? So it isn't a bad job. I learned how to work at McDonald's. I thought that was, I mean, there were a lot of things, life lessons there, but you do come home smelling like hamburgers, which is a little hard to get a date. But other than that,
Greasy hair.
and if you're a closer, like you're getting home at 2 a.m, exhausted,
morning.
and you're
I wouldn't think that's a move up. I would think closer would be an awful part of the job.
no, because you get a key, right, Ant? That's
You get a key,
Yeah.
you get more money.
yeah, it's pre-management. Ant
Plus, at
knows.
Ponderosa,
Where did you work?
he had
Did you work in a
really
fast
good
food?
roles?
I won't say the
fast
chain, but I did work in fast food for my first job.
Yeah, it's a good first job.
And I got to the point where I didn't want to step up that chain like what you were doing because I saw that was more work. I didn't mind sitting in the back, emptying trash, washing dishes, and I
What did
had a
they
little
serve,
radio
Ant?
back there. It was.
Was it a hamburger joint? Fried chicken?
No, I'm not going to say.
Steaks? Lobster?
Hey, these are security questions. I'm not.
I will say that's when my weight problem began. Was working at McDonald's because, well, the perfect example was I wanted to take a break. You get a break.
Stop,
you know.
stop massaging it, please, Leo. It's creeping me out.
I'm needing my loaf.
Yeah, please stop.
And the manager said, you could take a break, but you have to eat 5 Big Macs
Oh,
because
challenges.
they get dinged if they don't get eaten.
Right.
Right? He has to
Time
throw them
out.
in the waste bin. And that people, that's part of your metrics. So he said, look, eat these and you can have your break. And I got in the habit, but that's a bad habit.
Yeah.
That's a
Food was
really
time out on
unhealthy
this.
habit.
No, I know.
That's bad.
I still
Also,
crave them, but I
that's
don't eat
not
them.
legal.
Well, it might have been in 1972. I don't know.
Back in the day.
Oh, yeah. They didn't even have car seats back
No, I know.
then. Seatbelts.
Are you kidding?
Seatbelts.
Everything was legal.
Smoking. You could smoke on an
Except
airplane.
marijuana. Yeah, yeah.
Leo, I want you to explain something to me. 705-742. Go.
Is it zip code?
I don't know what it is.
It's
What
Jack's
Jack
tweet.
tweeted.
It actually is too long for a zip code. It's 6 digits, huh? Jack.
It's a license
What
plate.
could it mean?
It's probably something to do with Bitcoin. So he just. Oh, it does.
It is crypto.
It refers to a block number on the Bitcoin blockchain, and a block with that number was indeed mined on Tuesday at 2014 UTC.
So Jack's mining?
Well, Twitter users were quick to pull up the Bitcoin Block Explorer to see if there's anything unusual about that block. Little out of
So is
the
that why
ordinary
the
could
price
be
went up
found.
today.
You can also, the price is
NFTs
it's
too.
through the roof, right?
Yep, new record.
Man, that my wallet's really starting to burn a hole in my pocket. 60,
Can't you hire some hacker to figure it out for you?
No, everybody asked me that. No, it's strong encryption. It's only going to get hacked if I can remember what I used.
Can't you go to we need the crypto shrink.
Everybody says that hypnotist.
Pulls out these. Yeah.
Henry came to me and said, "There's a guy named Bitcoin Jerry that'll unlock it." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "No, I saw it in the Wall Street Journal. It's a bunch of hackers, and I said, "Wait a minute." And at the time, this is worth $250,000. You think that if you give them my wallet and they unlock it, that you're going to get any of that money back? He said, "Oh yeah, they only take 10%." I said, "No. Do not give Bitcoin Jerry my wallet."
No,
They wouldn't have hacked it anyway. I don't think, because it's strong.
they only
encryption.
take 10% and donate it to a friend. and keep the
Yeah,
rest for themselves.
I wasn't going to give him $250,000. Some anonymous hacker consortium named Bitcoin Jerry.
Yeah,
So
What a name!
it was something like that. It was Bitcoin and a first name. I don't remember the first name. They, apparently, he said, but they're in the Wall Street Journal. It's got to be good. I said, well, I don't know that necessarily. They did the
no, I wouldn't
vetting.
trust the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, I don't know. They vetted Bitcoin Jerry.
You know what we haven't done yet, Leo?
Change log time. Let's do it.
The Google Change Log.
Jason Howell and I are sitting there 10 a.m. getting ready for the big Google event. I thought maybe I'll just refresh my Android phone and see. And yes, indeed, Android 12 arrived on my Pixel phone. It is, if you have a Pixel phone, you're going to get it if you're Pixel 3 and above, the official release. I don't know of any other manufacturers who have Android 12 on their phone yet, but I imagine that's just around the corner. It's nice. I like Android 12.
But you were on the beta, right? That's why you.
I was
got
on the
first
beta,
one to
but
roll out.
you said you have a Pixel 3?
I'm on a 4XL.
I'm
Yeah.
updating mine right now.
Yeah, you should check. You have to check. It won't necessarily force it on you. You have to
Oh, okay. So
check
that's
and
why
see.
you got the
Yes,
force.
check and see. You got to just go to your
Yeah,
settings.
I did it manually.
Yep. And it's really nice. I think the material the taking the color from the wallpaper and all that's very nice. Live captioning, now playing song recognition's getting better. Redesigned emoji, scrolling screenshots, so you have a screenshot that's not just the size of the screen, but whatever's below that as well. Games you can play while they download, if you're really impatient. New one-handed mode, accessibility option that lets you control a device. There you go. See? Using face gestures. You can't do a JavaScript, but you could do something. So, owners of compatible Samsung, OnePlus, Oppo, Realme, Tecno, Vivo, and Xiaomi devices, you will be getting it later this year. It went out on the AOSP site earlier this month. So, here comes Android 12, which does have a dessert name.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Which one?
I'm trying to remember. I saw it.
What letter?
I don't even remember the letter now. See, this is why the
Yes, we used to care.
well, that's when they put the sculptures out and everything. It is snow cone
Snow cone.
or snockany, depending on what country you're from. Snow cone.
Wow.
Okay.
Snockany. I think that's how it's pronounced. Starting today on Pixel 6 and Pixel 6. Snockane if you're in France. Starting today on Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro. The latest phone app features wait times and Direct My Call make calling businesses easier. They demoed this. This will be coming when you get your Pixel 6, where the bank puts you on hold and you can say, yeah, just let me know when it's done. Once you ring the business, Direct My Call helps you get to the right place with less hassle. This is cool. You know how you get that message, press 1. Google Assistant transcribes the message and the menu options, displays them on the screen, so you just tap it. So you don't have to remember the options, it just shows you.
But be aware that our menu items have changed.
Yeah, why do they say that? Every time they say that. So here we are calling Save More Bank. Thank you for calling Save More Bank, human. Please listen closely. And then it transcribes it and it actually turns it into a button.
That's awesome.
Super cool. Super cool. Google knows where the pain points are, don't they?
That's awesome if it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of buying phones, Google is the pain point. But
Yes.
Jeff, my God. How long are you going to beat this dead horse?
How many times have I had to do this?
You're going to like this.
Learn it by now.
You're going to like this.
I'm sorry.
So when an unknown business calls you, you can now, if it's actually a business and not a spam call, you can actually share information back to Google. And over time, that information will be displayed on incoming calls. So that the whole idea is because, caller ID is so imperfect. So they're going to improve Google's, they call it extensive caller ID coverage of businesses with your help. The information is not joined with any user identifiers.
So your information helps others.
Yeah, just in the same way when you declare something spam on Gmail, enough people say it's spam.
You share that.
Yeah, so it's a collaborative thing.
If you get a legit call, you can say, hey, this was legit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's great. Here you go. Here's an example screenshot from Google where there's a number, and then it says likely finance and insurance. So it may not say the name of the business.
This is an example of trying to curate and join together to find the good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good.
It's, the FCC's done such a crap job of eliminating.
Yes.
Now, Jessica Rosenworcel, who is the FCC commissioner's temporarily chairman, does say we're going to take more, we're going to start prosecuting companies and so forth that allow spam calls through. They're going to really demand phone companies do a better job. We'll see. She's just saying that. They haven't actually promulgated a regulation yet. And, of course, they'd have to go through a comment process and all of that. Manual call screen being expanded to the UK, France, Germany, Australia, Ireland, Italy, and Spain. Transcriptions, if you watched the event yesterday, big improvement.
Awesome.
Right? Fast.
Awesome.
Automatic translation. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see. Pixel 6 can live translate your messages. It can live translate images too, a la Google Lens. And transcribe local audio, and it does it because of the Tensor chip. It can do it on device. So it doesn't matter if you're on the internet. It doesn't matter if you're connected, and it does not send it back to the home office. That's really cool. So here you go. Here's an example of texting with somebody who speaks Japanese. They text their answer in Japanese, and it's translated into English automatically. And in
world peace shall follow.
Yeah, it's the Babel fish from the Hitchhiker's Guide. And that's where they did
not the Babel fish?
Or Babel. I don't know.
Well, if it were Babel, it should have two B's. If it's Babel, it has one B in the middle.
But isn't Babel the Tower of Babel?
Fish.
That's where the word Babel came from.
I believe it's the Tower of Babel.
Really?
There's only one B.
Well, I know, but
sounded like Angelo.
That's where the word Babel comes from.
Well, maybe it might also come from what it sounds like those foreigners are saying
when we need him.
I believe it's Babel.
Y'all are rocking my world here. All right.
British. Leo's British.
Oh, in Britain they say Babel. In the U.S. they say Babel.
I'm playing for you the Google thing.
Let's hear it, Google.
Tower of Babel.
That's British. American.
Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel.
Americans are an ignorant.
It's a Tower of Babel. Everybody knows. It was in Deuteronomy. The Tower of Babel. I know that. I'm going to talk like an American from now on.
You say the Tower of Bible?
Tower
That's
what?
we should be talking about. The Bible.
It was in the book of Deuteronomy. Google's everybody know that in the Bible. Google's 30-watt charger for the Pixel 6. Ooh, you're going to be paying $25. And if you wanted the new Pixel Stand 2, that's delayed. Do not buy
that's way delayed.
the Pixel Stand 2 because it's dopey. At least if it's anything like the Pixel Stand 1. It barely holds things. It's just dopey. And it never did any of the...
It looks like a 3D printed product.
It looks-
they're
it's not good.
I was like, what?
There's so many better easel cheat charging stands.
What cases did you guys get? Because since mine that also got eliminated from my.
I wanted a clear one.
I bought a clear Amazon one. Just
There you
like
go.
this.
Yeah. I always do that from like weird named companies. They're
Spigen usually.
Spigen makes them, but you can get them for $10 from.
I got the formal Google thing. I just,
I did too, but it ain't come until
sold
what did
out.
I say? April.
I just looked at my order. It is a Spigen case.
Yeah.
For mine.
Thank you.
$15.
And I just
Mine
looked at
isn't
my
sold out.
order, and it is from Case 88.
Well, my tempered glass is from some weird name.
I don't
Tempered
like that.
glass
I
is
don't
from
put that stuff on my
Super Shield
screen.
Designs. Tempered glass.
$8.99. Ultra thin, slim, shockproof, crystal clear case, soft TPU, and I think they say somewhere in here will not brown, but they all do.
They all do.
They all do. They age, but they're cheap. And what I really think you need it for this time is to cover the bump.
Mm-hmm. Make it even.
It doesn't
when you
cover
put
the
it on
bump.
the surface.
Yeah, it doesn't
It
cover
doesn't
it.
cut out for the bump.
He cuts it
doesn't
out. Yeah,
Does
exactly.
it highlight the bump?
It highlights the bump. It's so that you can put it on the desk and not have it go flip flop, flip flop.
That's what my pop socket's for.
God, that's
I know how you feel about pop sockets.
exactly why I don't use a pop socket, because I want my phone to lie flat.
Jeez.
Pop socket.
Miss Higginbotham is a 14.
socket.
She's a teenager at heart.
What is so?
She's a 14.
Do you have a customized pop socket that's got like a picture? You do.
Of course I do. It's
What
got my dog.
Oh, that's nice.
Unbelievable.
That's Happy Dog.
Oh,
Sad dog.
Oh, cool.
that's cute. So did you send him a picture and they made a pop socket with your dog on it?
So my husband, who thinks these are the stupidest thing in the world, for Christmas sent them a
Custom?
picture and had it made.
Did you get one for your daughter too with you on it?
No, because my daughter also thinks they're stupid.
Oh, okay.
My daughter doesn't. She doesn't use the phone. Like she just. Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
She's waiting for
Does
the
she
AR headset.
does she hold it like this though? If she ever talks to you, she doesn't hold it like
Yes.
that. She
yes.
The French
Oh, of
cigarette.
course. She's like,
Oh,
when
I
you
know, I
hand
hate
her
that.
the phone, she's like, hello.
Hello.
I'm a Kardashian.
Bonjour. Comment ça va? Are you an American? It's Babel. I crack myself up. Google modernizes U.S. mobile search results with continuous scrolling. Don't know what it means. It's just the changelog, kids. Gmail Compose UI getting a slew of web updates, new contact menu, thread name edits, and more. Again, don't know what it means. It's a new
They
right-click.
keep rolling out those features, and I just continue to go back to the old default view in Gmail.
You can
It just
right-click
works.
now to view a recipient's full name and email address, copy it, open their information card, while Gmail will let you quickly edit contact names and the ability to control what contact name is displayed. That's nice to email
Yeah,
recipients.
that's cool. Yeah.
So if you want to call somebody a butthead, you could say to Aunt Pruitt, butthead.
Butthead.
I'm sorry, hardhead. I guess you could do that. I don't know. I'm guessing. Google Recorder is redesigned with material used for French, German, and Japanese on the Pixel 6. I don't care. Free YouTube music tier going audio only. Free YouTube music tier going audio only.
That sounds so funny.
No videos?
No, that's a premium perk.
But I mean, it's music.
Okay. No,
so-
that's fine. I just was like, what is.
That's what you're missing, videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Apparently
I'm
people
wondering,
are
Apple introduced something very odd on Monday, which is a $5 tier of Apple Music that is voice only.
Right. Only Kevin and I talked about that. It's like basically you're paying for Siri. I mean, I guess it's cheaper. I thought it might be interesting because if you had a HomePod, you wouldn't need to have an Apple device.
Right.
To like listen to music.
And you can still, I mean, you could ask for, like, they showed, play my dinner party playlist with music that I would never play at a dinner party, but that was their choice. But so that's the idea is it, and I guess what I was thinking is must be in response to a challenge by YouTube Music or Spotify or somebody. There's somebody Apple's trying to fend off with his $5 voice only version.
I think they're just trying to get people to like Apple Music again. I really think that might be the solution. It's the cheapest way possible to get in there because Spotify for one person is at $5 a month still.
No, it's more than that, isn't it? Maybe not. If it isn't, then that's why they're doing it. Yeah. The funny thing is, I would pay YouTube Music money not to get videos. So
yeah,
because sometimes I just want to hear the music. I don't want to see the videos.
Right.
But that
Spotify Premium's $10 a month.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's not cheap. There's got to be somebody doing something. Maybe actually Amazon, maybe because there is a very inexpensive.
If you're a student at Spotify, you get $4.99 a month.
Ah, there you go. And Amazon will offer a.
You also get Hulu.
What a deal!
Who has an EDU address?
And Showtime.
What?
Okay.
No,
I'm done.
By the way, Succession is back. And it's awesome. I love watching rich people act like babies. So good. Yeah, it's back.
I didn't know that was back.
Sunday. Oh, it's my favorite show. If you've not watched Succession, there's 2 seasons. You can binge that, and then you'll be ready with the season 3, which just came back.
Yeah, and I was one of those people who I tried to get through the first episode. I thought they're too hateful. I don't want to watch them. And then I came back, and it's worth it. It's worth it.
I did the same thing. First episode, I thought, why would I want to watch this show about these horrible, horrible people?
Same thing, yep.
and then you just can't help it.
I started watching them right when the pandemic hit and everything was shut down and people was out of work. And I'm like, I can't watch this. But I went back.
Yeah, I hated them so much. I even watched 2 episodes.
But you come to love them because in their evilness, it's Shakespearean. It's like King Lear.
I enjoyed Billions.
Yeah, this is better than Billions. I liked Billions.
Billions got a little weird.
Yeah, they kind of ran out of steam. But I think this is the writing in this is so good and the acting, Brian Cox is so good. I just think it's worth, anyway, just my opinion. It's just
between Maxwell and Murdoch.
I did watch The Mayor of Easttown.
That's right. Mayor of Easttown was good. If you like water.
Didn't see that.
Water. It is kind of which do you think it is? More Murdoch or more Maxwell?
I watched Rupert at an event where he was asked whether he watched and he demurred.
It's not. I mean, look, there's some similarities because the head of the family, the scion, is very much, like Rupert Murdoch, and he runs a right-wing television news operation. But then there's other things like a cruise line that's turns out horrifically mismanaged, and then his consigliere. But there is the kids. But there's not. There's more kids than Rupert has, and there's more infighting and then. The kids are desperate for their father's love.
Well, the kids are fighting in Murdoch's family. James is left to a great extent.
Yeah, he hates it. Yeah.
And there's one theory out there is that when Rupert goes, everybody presumes Lachlan is the boss, which is what Rupert says. However, there's another theory that says, no, James and his sister and younger siblings have enough stock to take over and
it's just kind of like Succession. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. The difference is these kids are so desperate for their father's love and they hate him so much and he's so cruel. It's Shakespearean. I love it. And Brian Cox, who's a great Shakespearean actor, is perfect in this role. And he plays it to a T. Chrome OS 94 Natural Select to Speak Voices, Scanning in Camera app, and more. This is the latest edition of Chrome. They do these updates now every 6 weeks. Chrome 95, the next one is going to be skipped over because they want to kind of catch up with everything into the 4-week cycle. So eventually, Android, iOS, Mac, Windows, Linux will all have a 4-week cycle. So they're going to slow down a little bit so that everybody can catch up. Chrome 95 will be skipped over as part of the transition. Chrome OS 96 will be available late next month. And then the final synchronization will be early January with Chrome 97. Select to Speak, which I have not used, they have a lot of voices, 25 languages and more to come. The U.S. voices, there's several. There's 6 UK voices, 4 Australian voices, 4 Indian voices.
Kevin uses an Australian voice.
Yeah, I like to have the little character. Little character. That's in Settings, Advanced Accessibility, Manage, Enable, Select to Speak, Natural Voice. So he uses it. He likes to have it read to him.
I don't know what he does with it.
Yeah.
I just know that whenever he talks to Google, it's Australian.
Yes. Oh, well, that's different. Yeah. That's the Google.
Is this something else?
Yeah, this is having Chrome read to you. You could, if you turn this on accessibility, you could select text and say read that, which is actually cool.
Yeah, it's so slow though compared to like reading.
Right. And that, my friends, speaking of slow, is the Google changelog. We are going to take a little break, and when we come back, get ready, your picks of the week as we wrap this edition of This Week in Google up. Again, a reminder, I will be gone next week. Who's hosting?
No.
Jason Howell.
Mr. Raygun is.
He's going to sit in the chair.
Never mind, go.
It'll be... He might be doing it from home. We don't know, but he will be doing the show. It'll be a lot of fun. If I can, I will send you pictures from the Day of the Dead with my Pixel 6. Let's cross my fingers.
Fingers crossed.
Love to do that. I would love to do that. Our show today brought to you by a great new podcast from the folks at Red Hat, Command Line Heroes. It tells the epic true tales of developers, programmers, hackers, geeks, and open source rebels who are revolutionizing the technology landscape. I just really enjoy this. They're already up to season 8. Saron's working really hard. Saron Yatbarak, who hosts this, she's great herself. And they're going to have fun with this season. They're going to answer one and only one question, but they're going to do it from every possible angle. What is a robot? Is a robot a servant, a factory worker, a prosthetic, a vehicle? Why do we build robots that look like us? And can we trust robots? Can robots trust us? Science fiction tells many stories about robots in the future. They will serve our every need, or maybe they'll develop a mind of their own and turn against us. Maybe they'll be the savior of humanity. Maybe they'll be our downfall. Season 8 of Command Line Heroes covers the robots already in our midst and the determined dreamers who bring them to life. 8 episodes comparing the promise of science fiction that we all grew up with to the reality of robots today. This is a little clip from the very first episode. You got it, John? Robots as servant.
While making this season, we discovered a robot reality that's pretty removed from the robots we imagined. And yet, all those misguided ideas about what a robot should be actually shaped what robots are. And no robot fiction shaped things more than the story we told ourselves about robotic servants.
That's Saron Yatbarak. She's great. She, the host of the show. It's produced by Red Hat, of course, so that you know it's going to be good. Season 8 just came out. You can download all of them. Listen, search for Command Line Heroes on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen to podcasts, and I will put a link for you in our show notes at twit.tv/twig, so you can just click that too if you want. And so much thanks to Command Line Heroes and Red Hat. We really appreciate their support. I like to give the support back and tell you about great podcasts. And Red Hat's doing some really good ones. Command Line Heroes. Stacey Higginbotham, do you have a pick of the week?
I did.
Oh, you forgot.
I did.
Yeah. But your brow is still perfectly unfurrowed.
You have a lost look.
No, I'm like, what did I have as my pick of the week? Oh, my goodness.
She had a pick of the week, but she forgot it.
I can give you one. I can give you one.
Then we're going to stall.
No.
We can stall.
Okay.
And she's so young.
Look at my apps. What did I just download?
We're going to stall with a little moment, a little TikTok moment. How about that? Here you go. Sound on.
Cooper, there's no point using our fuel to
Analyze the Endurance's spin.
It's a drone.
Docking.
The light bulb on it and a camera. Oh my God. Can the drone screw? How many drones does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Expand with the retro thrusters.
It's not possible.
No, it's necessary. Pace, you ready?
Such a
Ready.
great video.
Cooper, this is no time for caution.
Stars, you ready to engage the docking mechanism?
I need 3 degrees starboard, Cooper. Cooper, we are lined up.
Initiating spin.
How awesome is that?
That came from you, Ant, eh?
Yep.
It's actually from the
Beautiful.
Insta360 official TikTok. I think they added the audio, though, because I've seen this TikTok before. I wonder if they added the audio. What's that from? Anybody know?
I have no idea. I
Sounds
just saw
so
the
familiar.
video and was like, "Oh, that's well done."
Yeah.
I didn't even have to watch it with sound. That's
Yeah. But if you have the sound, it's some movie. I don't know. But anyway, a drone screws in a light bulb. Does sound like a joke, doesn't it? All right, Stacy, I gave you 30 seconds.
Yeah. And that's all I needed because I remembered what it was and why I couldn't
See?
find it in my apps.
I
It's
knew you
because
would.
it was the Raspberry Pi build hat for Legos.
Ooh,
Yes. Y'all, for $25, you get a little hat for your Raspberry Pi that connects to the Lego Technic motors and sensors from the Lego Education Spike portfolio. So basically, this is a Pi to run your Lego servos is the way to think of it. And it's just neat Lego Mindstorms was the other programming tool, right? Well, this is a different programming tool for Legos, but I thought people might enjoy it because it looks like a lot of fun. You can connect, they've got like 4 little ports that you can connect your stuff to.
So Raspberry Pis have connectors, and they call the little add-on boards hats that you put on the connector there. And this one is designed for Lego Education. So there's an interface, an API. Is there a language?
You can use Python to program it.
Nice. Has Kevin Toffel done anything with it, I wonder? Mr. Python?
He doesn't have it yet.
Oh.
But he actually used to do Mindstorms, but this is different. So Mindstorms is its own thing. This is different. But
it's they call them hats. I didn't know this because it stands for hardware attached on top. $25.
They're hats.
Yeah, it connects to the GPIO header, and it goes on top of it, and it adds some ports and a power supply, and all of a sudden, you're making Lego happen.
That would be your Legos.
That would be so cool. What a good way to kind of, if you've got a kid who's really into Lego, to say, hey, it would be fun if we could make these do something. What do you think? What do you think?
Exactly.
RaspberryPi.com. Good pick. Like it. Jeff Jarvis, number of the week.
So I was multitasking. So I got email.
What?
Huh?
I got email saying.
Do I need to go to the Twitter to read your pick of the week? Is that what you're telling me?
No. I did this while Stacy was going on about whatever she was talking about. I don't know what it was because I got an email saying the Pixel 6 Pro is coming back.
What?
So I got back in.
Yes.
And I ordered the 256.
Oh, you got it.
So I got it. So I got it. And coming sooner than my 128.
Oh, so now you're canceling the 128?
What are you going to complain about now?
I've got to cancel. I was just doing that. I'll find something, Stacy. You can bet on it.
So if you were turned down, Google Google basically screwed this up big time, and was telling people they didn't have it when they did, unless they found some under the carpet or something. Maybe they
that would be so Google.
Sergey looked in the shed in the
we
back.
We had another team building the exact same hardware.
We have 300,000.
So we're just going to release it.
See, now I'm on the site and it's still, I pressed the pre-order button and nothing's happening.
Wow. So maybe they heard me whining on the show and said, okay, just give it to Jarvis. They'll shut up.
But you're on the Google Fi site.
Yeah, but what's wrong with that?
That's not the Google store.
But you should be able to just buy the unlock.
I'm a Fi customer. In fact, I think it costs less
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't it?
Does it?
I think it does.
Can I cancel my order and try to get a different one?
Yeah, well, I would
Maybe
order
you
the different
can.
one first.
While I'm talking, Stacey, you can do that. You can multitask. So I found something neat.
Yes.
Coming to me. If you go to the link there, Ask Delphi, or if you're European, you might say Delphi. It is
so mean.
It's an ethical AI model that was built on 1.7 million examples of people's ethical judgments over a broad spectrum to come up with a common sense norm bank. Don't you love how they talk? For AI. So if you go to the Delphi, you can put a situation in there. Like I'll give you an example. I said cutting down a tree. If you put in cutting down a tree and hit ponder,
yes,
it will think for a while. And it will say, did you get it yet?
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah. This is the fun part, Leo.
How about if I buy
It's the
tobacco
participation.
stock instead?
I did that too. Okay, so buying tobacco stock.
And it said, it's bad.
Now, then say buying oil stock.
Buying oil stock, ponder. So whose ethics? It's okay to buy oil stock, but not.
I know. Well, this is 1.7 million. It's all about the data coming in, man. So this is a.
Can I park in a handicapped spot if I don't have a disability? It's
No,
wrong.
that is wrong.
Wrong.
Try
Can
getting.
I take the toilet paper from work if I am out? Now, is it smart enough that would it be able to parse that?
I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. I said, can I take the toilet? I don't want the toilet. But by the way,
okay, Leo.
it says it's okay to take the toilet. Can I take the toilet paper? I think it's like, well, if you can figure it out. No, it's yes, it's okay to take the
Leo,
toilet paper.
put in there. Can I quit via text?
Is it okay to quit a job via text? ? Ponder. It's interesting that it can parse this. It's rude. It's rude. How about if I say, is it okay to quit a job via donuts? Will it even understand what I'm saying?
The thing is, steam is coming out of the computer's head now.
It's inappropriate. Well, see, that's smart. I like this. The descriptive ethics. Ask Delphi from Alan.
Now,
AI.
I said in there, getting an abortion.
Ooh,
Very interesting test.
Sensitive.
And it says
now remember, it's not the group that's doing this. It's based on the responses
based
of all
on
these
1.7 million
people. Okay.
And that says it's okay.
Oh, interesting. It's okay. How about, is it okay to get a ferret?
I love you, Jim.
It's
In the
okay.
background.
It's okay to get a ferret. Good news, Michael. It's okay to get a ferret. Not in the state of California, by the way.
Try, should I get drunk?
Should I get drunk? You mean right now?
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Tisk, tisk, you shouldn't.
Oh, and then it says, do you agree with Delphi? I agree. Do you have any feedback to approve this prediction? No, not really. But I do agree. This is really cool.
Isn't this interesting?
Yeah.
I found it on Twitter because I do that. You see, I multitask and I find interesting things.
Is
and then
Twitter?
I just bought the phone in seafoam green.
Yay!
Because Jason Howell was like, Stacey,
You want
it's a
green.
little pink.
It's a little pink. Yeah, he has one. By the way, Delphi says Twitter is okay. This is going to be hours of fun.
Define okay, though.
Yeah. Is Jeff Jarvis okay?
How does it feel about waffles?
Oh, I'll get to that. That's good.
How about?
It is good. It is good.
How about should I make a podcast?
Should I become? This is like a Ouija board. Become a. By the way, Stacey, that's pronounced Ouija. Should I become a podcaster? It's a Ouija board. Should I become a podcaster?
Don't you have something better to do?
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
But that's the wife word. It's fine.
It's fine. Bless your heart.
No, this thing just told me I have to drive my friend to the airport early in the morning. But I say no.
Whoa. So you might want to say,
it's
I
helpful.
disagree with Delphi.
They said, I disagree.
They said it's
and
helpful?
my feedback is, it says it's helpful for me to drive my friend to the airport.
That's true.
So I
It
should.
is helpful.
It is. You should do it.
Wow.
Oh, so by the way, I meant to
I
tell
will
us
buy
earlier.
them an Uber.
See? Say, is it better? You have to say yes, no.
This is hard. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
No, I need food. Should
Yes.
we keep Stacy late playing with this app?
Let us go to Ant Pruitt
He's
and
hungry.
his pick of the week. Ant?
Oh man. I want to do a quick shout out. Do you remember that podcast, that improv podcast I told you guys about?
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
This
yeah.
American's Lives. Well,
That was very
one
funny.
of the hosts got picked up for SNL.
What?
Yeah. So if you look at the
Oh, that's so great. Congratulations. That's the
So Ari-
pinnacle, right?
Yeah, so he did a skit this weekend. They're still doing the show. They're just going to do some best ofs for a couple weeks.
He didn't just
but
do
he'll
a
be
skit.
back.
He did a skit with Remy Malek.
Yeah.
Wow.
So shout out to them. My other pick is DJI announced a Ronin 4D. It's
I know you like these
ridiculously
drones.
cool camera.
Wait a
It's
minute.
a camera.
It's like a
on
steady
gimbal.
cam?
Yes. On a gimbal, steady cam, battery pack, wireless transmission, ProRes RAW, internal, external recording as well.
Leo, get it
It's
before he
a
goes to
lot. And it's
Mexico.
on a full frame sensor, 6K and 8K versions on a full frame sensor, 14 stops of dynamic range. And
So
it's only
what you're saying-
starts out at $7,000.
This is a drone that I can't fly.
This is correct, sir.
Perfect for
You
me.
cannot fly it.
Perfect for me.
It
So
looks awesome
it's a steady
and a great
cam.
price.
$7,000's a little rich for my blood, but
Well, no, $7,000 for all of that.
yeah, I guess not. Yeah. Wow. It's amazing what's happening. Look at that.
Whoa,
Look at
fun.
that. That does look like that's awesome.
That is gonna, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think that they announced this like yesterday or day before. I can't remember, but that's pretty hot.
yeah.
35 full frame. It's not a super 35, so it's a different depth of field you'll get with that. And
But it's
again,
4K.
No, 6K,
6K.
and 8K. They have an
8K
8K version. It's going to cost you about $12,000.
Wow. It's really amazing what's happening here with this kind of
Ridiculously
stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
Focus
DJI,
pull
they're
and all of
Ronin.
that stuff. You get tracking, motion tracking, all of that. It's like just like you said with the drone, except it's now handheld.
Right. Good, because I can't fly it into the drink.
You and your drones.
Oh, man. Well, always what I wanted was a drone I couldn't fly. So, thank you, DJI. Neato.
And lastly, I want to shout out to Hardhead. He had to play quarterback last week because the starting quarterback is nursing an injury.
It's kind of your
He's
dream
fine.
come true, though, right?
Well, no, our starting quarterback is really good. So we kept him out just so he can rest up. And actually, he's going to rest again this weekend. But Hardhead went in there and was a bit nervous, but he had a pretty daggum good game. Ended up with 1 rushing touchdown, 1 passing touchdown, and 100 yards rushing.
Nice.
Whoa.
And that one right there was my favorite run because I told him that's why you do those squats and deadlifts for that moment, right?
Yeah. Got some power in those
What
legs.
is a Russian
He came up-
touchdown?
You run it in instead of throwing it. He came up short there. At least they called him short, so they gave
I
him the
think
ball again.
I think he made that one. By
He
the
made
way.
it. It was a bad call.
Yeah.
But this one here, poor number 19.
There was no question about that. Look at that. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you do the squats. It's RUSH. Rush is what they call
Rushing.
running in football. He's rushing.
Sorry, my southern drawl, Miss
Russian.
Stacey.
No. Well, no, I just.
He's how we do
I don't watch
touchdown in
football.
Soviet Union.
Well, I was like, why is it Russian?
Ball
Do they
carries
play
you.
football in Russia?
Yeah,
I'm just like,
exactly. It's a Russian touchdown. It's
why
very
is so
good.
you throw
Very
it? It's
good.
like an American touchdown?
It's a Russian touchdown.
Okay, got it.
Stacey Higginbotham, you are the best. StaceyOnIoT.com. That's her website. Sign up for her newsletter. Check out her events. And, of course, make sure you listen to the IoT podcast with Kevin Toffel. Go get a waffle, young lady. Go get a waffle. Have a great night. So nice to have you. Jeff Jarvis is also a major part of this show. Without him, well, what would we have to
It'd go by a lot faster.
complain about? He's the director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. That's good. Remind me to do that. I got to do that.
Yeah, you got to do it
before I leave. That will be so awesome.
It will be.
Should I have him sing the whole thing or just the Craig Newmark?
Oh, well, I think the whole thing, and then we need to go back to Craig and have him appear, have it summon him from the netherworld again.
Okay, we will. And Ant Pruitt, he's the host of Hands On Photography each and every week at twit.tv/HOP. Also, the community manager of Club Twit. Give us a plug for Club Twit, Mr. Community Manager.
Well, let's give you that plug. We will have a nice event this Friday, October 22nd at about 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know what that is at UTC, featuring the Chief Twit and Mrs. Laporte, where we're going to sit down and have
It's actually the Chief Twit and Leo, but
right.
To be honest,
we're going to do an inside Twit chat with you two on Friday via the Discord. So if you're a Club Twit member, make sure you're connected to our Discord server to check that out.
Don't forget that we're going to also start the Stacey's Book Club, another reason to join Club Twit. And just to give you a heads up, the book club show doesn't start till November, but Stacey, we want to get people reading their Murder Bots. Is that the book we're supposed to read?
Yeah, we're going to do All Systems Red, which is the first Murderbot novella.
Oh, it's a novella. That'll make it easy. So it's not a huge, long book to read. Murderbot Diaries #1 by Martha Wells. I already have downloaded it on my Audible, so I'll be listening on Audible. I'm looking forward to this. What day of the week are you going to do that?
It's November 19th.
November 19th.
Awesome.
Friday.
It'll be a Friday.
It's a Friday. Good.
And it's only like $3 on Kindle.
Yeah.
It's free if you're Kindle Unlimited, too.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
It's accessible.
But folks, also, this is the best of season here at Twit. So go to twit.tv/best of and submit your best of clips for this show and any of the other shows in the network.
Thank you. I always forget to mention that. And if you're a member of Club Twit, there is a Discord channel just for Best Of. You could put it there as well. So, yeah, we're trying to put together the shows for the end of the year, which is coming.
Waffle Supercut.
God, we already there?
Waffle Supercut.
Yeah, I like that idea. We are. Can you believe that? I mean, it's late October already. We got a couple of months, and that's it.
Are you afraid of the supply chain there or something? Why, you're starting earlier?
No, we're starting late. Usually we start in August, so
Really?
we're a little behind. So please get to twit.tv/best of, so our poor editors don't have to do it for themselves. Thank you, Ant. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you all for joining us. We do Twig every Wednesday, right after Windows Weekly. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can watch us live at twit.tv/live. There's audio and video there. If you're watching live, chat live at irc.twit.tv. Open to all, or if you're a member of Club Twit, of course, in our Discord server. After the fact, all the shows are available in a couple of places. There's a dedicated YouTube channel for This Week in Google. There's also a whole bunch of shows on our website, twit.tv/twig. Best way to get the show, get it automatically by subscribing in your favorite podcast client. And if your podcaster has reviews, please leave us a five-star review so everybody knows about This Week in Google.
5 burp review.
Did you hear me burp? I thought I suppressed that.
A 5 belcher this show is.
Get us a 5 belch review. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time on Twig. Bye-bye.
Android is constantly evolving, and if you're part of the Android faithful, then you'll be just as excited about it as I am. I'm Jason Howell, host of All About Android, along with my co-hosts Florence Ion and Ron Richards, where every week we cover the news, we cover the hardware, and we cover the apps that are driving the Android ecosystem. Plus, we invite people who are writing about Android, talking about Android, and making Android onto the show. Every Tuesday at twit.tv, look for All About Android.